Welcome, everybody, to the Journeymen Lounge podcast.
You better be praying to God because, you're 14 and losses in a row. You're going to need Jesus.
Am I wrong?
I thought you were pretty wrong, yeah.
And we're back. The Journeymen Lounge podcast is riding high right now because we're running a couple takes here. We had some technical difficulties, but we're persevering. I am Woj. You know me. You know this man over here.
What'd you say, Elton?
You know. Right?
Those glasses, he looked like Ellen DeGeneres' cousin,
I said
for Christ's sake.
Elton John, that is. I said Elton John.
We didn't even get 20 seconds in.
I couldn't help it. I'm sorry.
Are you interning for Pixar or
Gloria
something?
Vanderbilt Collections is right there.
Oh,
all right. I'm
it's
sorry.
a good day. It's a good
Cool.
day.
All right.
All right, we should introduce our
I'll
guest.
be here all night. Tip your waitresses.
All
Are we starting over again?
No. This is it.
I mean, everybody is yelling right
I don't
now,
care.
so-
Oh, you told me.
Mute it
I thought we
down.
had to be louder. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I thought we had
No,
to
not
enunciate.
you guys.
Oh, okay.
This guy, but
Well,
all right.
anyway,
introduce yourself.
I'll be here all night, and I'm Ryan.
I'm Somang.
Dickhead.
And I'm Bobby.
Okay, so those are the three main, and Somang is a family friend. I mean, you've been in the picture for a long time, right?
I think so, yeah. About at least 8 years.
8 years,
now.
yeah. So, I mean, one of my brothers here. We do a lot of golfing.
Brother
Hey,
from another mother.
He was on the one.
Instagram or whatever.
I guess this is like your first time on the pod
Right.
talking through. I think you were in a video of the Instagram before here. So
He went on one of our golf trips last. Golf outings.
You played well.
which
Yeah.
we will do again.
Yeah, that's the one Woj was keep crying. So I was keep
Yeah.
telling him to stop crying. It's
Right.
okay.
At Old Orchard.
Jason,
crying.
it's okay.
Wasn't crying.
Yes, you are.
You're crying.
Wasn't crying like a little girl.
Yeah.
So Mong, hit us with the we ask all the guests like, what's your affiliation like in terms of the football? I know you said you're not a huge football fan, but like just go through the big
Sports in
four
general.
and soccer.
Crips or Bloods? No, I'm just kidding.
So like football, are you a Bears fan? Do you not give a shit? Hockey, like just go through them.
Football.
Hug that mic.
I don't know. I guess I'll go with Bears because I'm
Okay.
from
So-
Chicago.
Right, but you would
So
say you're
proximity.
probably not a huge football fan. You watch it
Correct.
if it's on. Okay.
Yeah, because I don't. I wouldn't even. I don't
you
know.
wouldn't even watch it.
No,
if it's
because
on.
I don't know the rules.
So say, somehow
You
you
know?
understand football. I was gonna say, do you get
No.
it? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You go
A little
you
bit.
go beyond the line with the ball.
Line of scrimmage.
He
It's-
understands that you have to
it's
get into
6
the end zone.
points. You kick the ball. You hit it over the thingy.
Okay.
And it's 1 point.
Field goal post.
You can
For an
also
extra
play
point,
for 2
sure.
points.
Yeah. You got it, kind
Okay.
of.
Yeah, that's it.
I think you got it. Yeah, football in a nutshell.
But I just feel like
You'd be a great
You just sprinkle in some
okay,
of those.
like everyone will hate me for this, but I feel like some of the rules that they have are just so weird. Because I feel like
Such
they have
as.
to like
Example.
Yeah.
holding.
Okay. Okay. I get.
Why doesn't it happen like all the time with a similarity of like, oh, he did it, so when this guy does the same way,
You know,
it should be called.
that's a
but
great-
it's not called.
It's a good
I will-
observation.
It's a
I
great
will
point.
elaborate on
But
that.
I
is that
think because I'm more of a soccer guy. That's what
Okay,
I
well-
grew up
What's your
with.
favorite
But thing
soccer
is-
team to you?
But soccer, I think
Premier
it's-
League?
Yeah.
Hold on.
EPL. I'm a big gunner. I'm an Arsenal fan.
Okay, we'll
But
get
thing
to
is-
we'll get to
Arsenal's
soccer.
fucking
Yeah,
good.
yeah. But I
Finish
feel
up
like
football.
in soccer, there's one referee that's running with the ball, right? Like around the ball, so he's always watching and seeing like, oh, that's a foul or not. But I feel like in like American football, there are like more than how many referees
There's
are
like
there?
6 refs. At
Yeah,
least
but I
on the
think
field.
that's so weird that sometimes they call it, sometimes they don't. They throw those
flags.
papers
Right.
or whatnot.
Papers.
I like it. Papers.
Let me throw in 2 points here. Is
Yeah.
that one, in terms of football, Somong is absolutely right.
Real
There's
Madrid.
technically an ability to hold a person if you're on the inside of the shoulder pads, but as soon as it goes out, that's technically holding. So I do agree with that. The second part about the refs, you just like kind of shed light on is like, how does football still get stuff wrong? Where I feel like the accuracy of soccer and how they do it, I feel like it's way ahead of football. Like still there's pass interference calls.
Really?
Like in terms of soccer now,
Yep, and there's
everything
VAR.
is VAR.
Yeah.
So if the ball goes in, they have a fucking technology to show, yes, this absolutely went in. There's no possession factor.
Can we do immediate yellow card if you do more than 2 rolls if you're in fake pain? You know those guys that basically do barrel rolls for like...
I'm not saying soccer's perfect. In any
I was
way.
going to say, I was going to bring that up as well.
Like, if I sneezed on you too hard, there goes your ankle.
And I would say, like, I feel like soccer should have more refs. You have one guy running around the entire giant
they
field.
are side referees.
lines.
No, but they're far as hell away. What if everything's in the middle?
They only look at the offsides.
But they call fouls as well.
Yes,
but I'm saying
but
the ref
mostly,
has the main section of the field.
Yeah.
Isn't that a penalty?
Also,
not a foul?
I'm probably in rare camp here. I hate the soccer offsides. I don't like it. I don't like how the defense.
What do you mean?
The defense dictates the offside. No, I like how hockey is like a line.
Yeah.
And it's always, no matter what, that is the offside.
I could get behind them just instituting a line.
You know what I'm saying? Like a blue line, like hockey
but
has.
also soccer, it only starts from the half line. It doesn't affect.
Right. So if you play a ball in
behind
your own
yeah.
half.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. There's no offside.
Right. Which I think hockey, there's some blue line.
It's between the blues.
Two blue lines is like icing or something.
Yeah.
You can't go
Between
over
the blues.
Yeah, you can't go over two.
Like if your guy goes beyond the blue line and the puck hasn't gotten beyond that,
It's just
that's
what I
offsides.
grew up with, so I'm just maybe
All right, that's fair.
I just feel fair.
He's an Arsenal
Right,
fan, though.
right.
Fair enough.
So
Fair
again,
enough.
let's just run through the other two. Hockey, do you really follow?
No, I
anybody?
do not.
Okay.
No,
And then baseball.
no, not really.
Okay,
No.
so let's get to soccer here. So Arsenal, when'd you kind of like become? Let's say like when'd you start being a soccer fan?
You're an Arsenal guy too.
And then
Dude, they're top notch.
This guy at my
man.
work's Arsenal.
Oh,
They're good, man. Arsenal's
so-
been
so
relevant.
now
they-
they have been, but like we haven't won for a long time.
You guys are.
We had a few chances, but Man City and Liverpool, they're kicking our butt. Yeah, I think I started playing soccer as a young boy, I guess.
young child.
Yeah,
young
but-
As a
lad.
young lad.
Yeah, but that's what I did like every day when I
But-
was.
I guess the question is like, when did you become? Because like I played soccer for 20
Yeah, yeah,
years,
yeah.
and Premier League never really got. Like I paid attention to it at times, but like overall, I was like, I wouldn't say I was like a big Premier League fan.
I see. I
When'd
think
you
I
get
was
into that?
14, 13. Like in my middle school. That's the year when Thierry Henry was playing.
Oh,
that's
shit.
that's
In
the unbeatable year.
the treble, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Treble, and we never lost a game. And that's the year that when I started watching
That's a good
the
year to
the
get in, yeah.
EPL league, and that was the team to follow if you
Okay.
were watching EPL back then.
So right then and then you're Arsenal for life.
Yeah.
Nice.
And because a lot of Korean people my age are Man U, Manchester United fans because of Park.
Look what's happening.
Because of Park.
Okay.
And a lot of people who are a little bit younger than me are Tottenham fans because of
Son.
Yeah. So, but like that's why it's really hard to find an Arsenal like a Korean fans, but we are there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I mean, now you kind of set off the pod there a little bit that you have not been the most loyal, like not loyal is the wrong word, but like watching every game. You don't catch every game.
I used to when I was younger, but now I can't wake up
Do you
that
catch
early anymore.
some of the like a recap or
The
maybe,
highlights,
like,
yeah.
And you pay attention to the table. I do like the table mechanic for standings.
Yeah.
I definitely like how that works. But again, I've been saying I'm trying to get back. The timing is a killer, though.
Oh, that's fine.
It is. I like the fact that you suck so long that you could get kicked out of the right. I forget what it's called.
Relegation.
Yeah, relegation.
Oh
Sorry.
yeah. Go to the second
Get
league.
relegated, man.
Yeah.
See ya.
Another thought, random Ryan soccer thoughts. While we're talking about it, I know if again I didn't grow up watching soccer. I didn't get into soccer.
Out with
I don't
it.
even say I'm in it.
I know, right?
I like playing FIFA. I don't really watch too much soccer.
Yeah,
FIFA?
Yeah.
But it's
FIFA's sweet.
got me more into it than I would say when I was younger, for sure. But another thing, how come they can't do this like now? I think they should. Like with the extra time, like the only guy who knows is the one ref. Why
Oh,
can't
the
they
stoppage
they
time?
display
Yeah.
it everywhere so everyone can see? Like, can he just like digitally report
They do.
it?
They
to
do.
the-
Now it's a much more collaborative thing because like in soccer, again, if you guys aren't soccer fans, you kind of haven't seen. They do like there's the refs, then there's FIFA officials that are also doing the substitutions, doing like the how much stoppage time,
Yeah.
rule of
Like injury times too. Yeah.
So like there's a lot of people that go into it. It used to be that which I think was outdated, of just one guy going like, 5 minutes.
Call it 5.
Yeah.
Well, because like a ref could have like gambling on it. And it means a team to win or
Well,
something.
They got busted.
Definitely. Yeah.
1 minute left only, or how about 7 minutes?
Ryan, I think you're hitting it on the head that soccer has easily been one of the most corrupted games. I mean, more in the South America. I mean, FIFA had their own shit too, but South American it's been
one
rampant.
of the Colombia
and
like,
Italy too.
players got killed.
Italy
Yep.
Yeah. Escobar.
Escobar got killed.
That was a great 30
from
for
the
30.
self goal.
Great 30 for 30.
I mean, could you imagine in like basketball or football or whatever, and then they mean like, okay, the game only has 30 seconds left, and then it ends like, no, actually, there's 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
You know, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
And like you don't know about it, and no one. I mean, you have an idea, I
Yeah.
guess.
Last comment from me, or at least for the soccer, is at least the fans for the EPL, I think I just call it Premier League, but they have fun different things. They're like singing Neil Diamond. They have all these chants.
Yeah.
I'll say they're more creative than our American counterparts at most sports games. Like, and they have all their tunes, all their stuff, and it's not like easy pickup. This is like 1940s or 50s like love songs or some other bullshit. That
they changed
quote.
the lyrics and just sing it.
I think it's rooted in tradition.
I like
mean,
it, though.
These teams
I
have
dig
been
it.
around for 100,
long time.
150 years, maybe even more.
Yeah.
But those, I think, things will definitely, like, for the Bears, like, yes, we're 100 years in, and there are some of those, like, kind of like folky type of things. Like
I'd like if more of that was there.
You know, I think when you get into hey, you've been here for 200 years, I think you'll definitely get shit like that where it's like, hey, these are old time shit that they're bringing around. But again, I think that's rooted just more in tradition of soccer fans. And also, I heard that they don't sell beer, I don't think, at the game, actually.
At the game, and they separate the fans. Yeah, so that's why everyone usually is like, hey, off to the pubs at like 7:38 in the morning, get nice and drunk by 11, walk into the stadium, 11-ish, 12, watch your, 90 minutes.
Go there, then go back to
and
the
then
pub.
go back to the
Yeah,
pub, and then, dude, call it a day. I could get on board for something like that because you're not driving, you're with your buddies, getting fucking blind drunk and rooting on your team. I get it.
It'd be really cool to go to a game.
I know that I've been talking with Jeremy, and Jeremy knows this. Same thing with like the Ruth's Chris fucking bet.
Yeah,
We've been talking about.
Where's your steak?
Oh, he paid up already.
Yeah.
Oh, he did. Okay.
There's some videos.
All right.
Who do you root for? Do you have a team?
In terms of my team, I've been more of like Chelsea. Was always kind of like, don't give me that face. Get that face out of here.
I like the Hammers.
Why?
It's kind of
why and how?
It's kind of a team that between
Nobody likes.
No, and when were they good? They were good in like 2000.
They were good in
Yes,
the early
2012,
yes,
maybe
I remember.
2000.
Probably
Yeah,
liked him
yeah.
when they had Drogba.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was
Drogba.
it was like, again, it's the same thing, kind of similar to like when the Arsenal had the run.
Yeah.
Is that like
When you
they
start
were
watching,
they were great, and they had so many guys that you were just like, William.
Do you guys have
Yes.
any jerseys from them?
I have some other soccer jersey. I have this fucking.
They're called kits.
Kits.
Yeah,
Sorry.
They're uniforms.
Oh,
whatever.
your stuff. Okay.
But I have a Belgian one. This is dope. I have
From the World
PSG
Cup one?
I just have a random smattering of fucking
Sweet.
jerseys. You got some Arsenal.
Yeah,
too,
I
right?
just Arsenal.
They got great colors, man. Great colors.
If I had one,
The latest one I have is like neon green one.
Oh,
Cool.
those are sick.
Yeah, that was from last year kits. Yeah.
I'd want an orange Iron Robin Dutch jersey.
Oh,
That's my
he's
number
one of my
10.
favorite.
Neither
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a-
yeah.
Can we put that as a Google image? Because I don't even know what that is, but it sounds
Well,
cool.
we'll show you after the pop.
Yeah.
Iron Robin. I started playing FIFA. That was one of my
Right.
teams.
Yeah, he's
He
the
was
guy
one of
who
my-
had. I think he had
What
like
year was
a
that?
testicle cancer.
When I started playing FIFA.
Okay,
Yeah.
way to bring it down.
Ooh.
I know, right?
I really think so. I think he had some kind of cancer, but I think it was testicle
Oh, shit.
cancer. Yeah.
All
Look
right,
it up.
moving-
Look it up.
And Ryan.
Outside when I was a
What?
kid. Outside when I was a kid on N64. The first time I played FIFA was like FIFA 12.
Oh my God, yeah, that's-
11, 12.
Okay.
In there.
The old gray cartridges, slam it in.
Yeah, you got to blow it before.
Of course.
So yeah,
We're all waiting.
Soccer. About what?
That's
Yeah.
where you.
That was it. Yeah.
That was that's all you wanted, right?
That year? What was the year? The
I said it's like 2011 or 12 when I got into FIFA.
Netherlands was
Okay.
great.
Yeah.
They were unstoppable.
Yeah.
I think they won the World Cup 2010.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that sounds
2012?
right.
I don't know. It alternates every year. I can't never keep up. And then when it's on, I'm like, hell yeah, soccer.
It's more fun to
Yes.
play than it is to watch.
I remember
Yeah,
Germany
it is.
winning and
It is.
pissing off a lot of people.
Germany fucking smoked
Smoked.
Brazil 7-1 in the final.
Dude, yeah, I think that whole nation was ready to
I mean,
revolt.
I
Oh,
will
yeah.
say, dude, it was one of the best things to watch. Like when you're actually watching
They were-
it, because it's like a football
Yeah.
score, but this only happens like once every 100 years.
I know, and their last names all lined up like mine, so it was all pretty cool.
Great team. Yeah.
Oh, I guess Longhar is
It's very German.
really.
My mom's maiden name Cromer with a K.
Cromer, yeah. That's a bit more. All right, so in terms of the trip, sorry, I just want to get back to this real quick. I've been talking with Jeremy about going and seeing a EPL game. I vow that it will happen at some point. It's just you got to get in the right state of mind in terms of get the money together. I'm also just in terms of, I don't know if you guys think about traveling in general. I'm over hey, let's stay at the cheapest place imaginable, save a couple bucks. I'm not saying I'm staying at the Ritz, but you want to play.
We're adults. I get it.
If you're gonna do it once, I'm gonna do probably one EPL league. I'm gonna do it fucking
up.
Plaza
Which
Hotel?
team though?
No, not that level.
Jeremy's a
But
big
decent,
Liverpool
you don't need 5-star, but 4-star, 3-star.
Yes, absolutely.
There
If
we
we
go.
could see Liverpool, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think we're gonna settle for
Any
game, EPL
Yep.
game of any sort.
Yeah.
There's a lot of teams on Ipswich City and fucking.
I think it'd be really funny if you bunked with some hooligans, like the dudes from Eurotrip.
Yeah,
you need to learn. Fuck on in, mate. Let's go.
My
And
buddy-
doesn't he sing the Manchester United song or something like that?
yeah.
Yeah. I remember that.
My buddy
Yeah.
Tim, he actually saw West Ham play
cool.
Man City, I think, when he was there.
Oh, that's fun.
See, it's an event, and that's why I think you got to do it up. But I vow that
I'd get a scarf.
And again, this is an open
Jersey,
invitation to the entire when I'm planning it and going yo, this is it. This month, 8 months
Committed.
from now, and I'm just letting people know so
That's
that they
fair.
can go, hey, you're in or you're out.
Yeah.
I'm going.
Yeah.
If you're in, you're out. Fucking cool.
Yeah.
But in terms of soccer in general, this is a great conversation.
Yeah, that's nice.
Definitely want you to be back on, Somang, to rip it
Soccer.
up about some soccer. Let's turn the tables here because we were talking about
Indianapolis. Are we doing that one?
Well, I mean, Somang, you can just mention it. You're going to go to the combine. When is that?
NFL.
Oh yeah, it's
NFL
next week.
Combine.
Next week, I think it's Thursday through
Lucas
Sunday or
Oil
Wednesday
Field.
through Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll
And
be
it's-
there Thursday through Saturday, I think.
And you said it's free?
Yeah. So you just sign up. You go to the what is it? The Game Pass app.
Oh, okay.
And you just sign up there.
Oh, okay. So it's like a free with a you have to do.
You still got to
register.
yeah,
register
you
or
just
something. Yeah.
register, but you don't pay for anything.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I heard the parking's free there too. So
That is a huge
Yeah,
part.
yeah.
Because I'm sure Indianapolis it's a big enough city that parking's got to be a goddamn nightmare.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever been to the combine?
No, I've been in Indianapolis, just not the combine.
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't give me any excitement.
I don't know
There's
what
a prospect though
yeah.
that you'd want to see. I mean, if you're more of the NFL guy.
Yeah, but I don't know what to expect. You know what I mean?
Well, this is the thing: is that whoever you see there, and you can be like, "This guy's perfect." The Bears then draft the fucking dickhead, and you're like, "Great."
Quick side note that I just saw
Sure.
on a video was Cooper DeJean. What is it? Excellent Whites from.
What?
Cooper DeJean is a cornerback, and he's part.
Okay.
And then you
He's
have
a great cornerback. On Philly.
Blankenship, but they're called the Excellent Whites. That's like a moniker that they've given those two for the corner. But
Some people have.
Cooper DeJean's brother is 6'6". He's going to Iowa. He's going to be trained to become a tight end. So, welcome another DeJean into the NFL within the next 3 years.
Wow.
I think 6'6" is a little small for a tight end.
No, that's tall. That's
If you're
like
6'6",
Gronk.
can you even run?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think 6'7".
But his
kinda
brother
my
is
height.
just as athletic. He's in like basketball, baseball, like all the same things.
I mean, dude, you're gonna absolutely see just
I'm just
no, I'm saying you're gonna see an explosion though of siblings in the NFL.
Yeah.
I'm just excited
in any
about it.
sport
Like that's
for
crazy
that
because Cooper's
matter.
not that big of a dude compared to his brother. So younger
Well-
brother's got some,
Good for the DeJean family. So let's.
What a hater! First year in, and he gets a.
It's just like, dude, it's cool. He was one of the heroes of the Eagles, and you're talking about
his brother.
His brother.
That's relevant. Dude,
Yeah.
What the hell is this guy?
Yeah.
What's your problem? You have a problem.
I'll
Your
look for him.
problem.
I'll look for
Your
him.
I don't have a problem. I do want to talk about the. So the NHL, the All-Star weekends for NHL and NBA were this weekend, and I think it's with a bunch of people that the NHL just did it right this year. They did
Incredible.
a 4-league nations, 4-nation league, whatever the fuck, words are hard, where they just kind of do round robin play over a couple days, and then they face off. It's actually USA, Canada tonight. But it's been awesome. It's like a mini Olympics, and I'm just gonna open up the floor. But like, I definitely think like all of the major sports should try and adopt something like this. I'm not saying do the same thing. I'm saying something that involves, international players versus USA or separate teams,
like a Ryder Cup,
and just do a tournament. That's all that I want. I cannot stand like the 3-point contest, the fucking
no one
dunk
plays
contest
defense.
now.
They're just all doing dunks and
Just all-star
3
game
points.
is awful, but that's my take. I'm gonna open it up. Anybody jump in?
I'll jump in. I loved
goes.
the NHL. I'm glad that USA, I love the fighting right out of the gate. There's some disrespect early, but that got handled. Connor McDavid got pretty much, thrown up against the glass like a fly swatter, so that was kind of cool. And we won 3-1. This is going to be a fun game tonight. And the players, very passionate. They're like, this is our Stanley Cup in their mind. They're like, I'll go out there and break a leg if I have to, like literally, and keep on skating just to compete.
I mean, honestly, a couple of guys have gotten hurt in the previous game. So I love that intensity. I love people
the
going
passion.
like, hey, we're going to go out there and fucking play, not, hey, LeBron. Like, the thing that pisses me off about the NBA, man, is LeBron goes until the last minute and then goes, hey, I'm not going to play. Now it's too late. You can't even replace him with another
He takes the
all-star.
picture in his regular clothes. Everybody's wearing their uniform.
I mean, dude, it's like an ego trip.
Yeah, real.
And I'm just like, why don't we?
Well, would you hit the nail on the head there? It begins with him at the top. He's like the like elderest player or whatever, like the one everybody looks up to. He sets the tone.
Right.
If he doesn't give a shit, no one else does, and he hasn't give a shit his whole career. He said he was going to do the dunk contest in 2009 after Nate Robinson won. I remember he's like, I'm unofficially entering my name in the dunk contest next year, and then he never brought it up. He never did it. Still hasn't done it. I mean,
He's never going
the
to.
Stars used to participate in every weekend, and they would make it special, and they used to compete. If you watch like the '90s All-Star games,
90s, early 2000s.
Vince Carter, my God.
If they're not competing, especially they're some of them they're competing like the whole game, but at least for sure they're competing in the fourth quarter at the very least. I mean, is there alley-oops and shit with them? Yeah, but it's not like every play, and they're not just walking around.
No,
and,
they're actually like trying to post up.
There was
play
like,
D.
I'm not gonna let you show me up.
Right.
Like I have some pride or whatever.
Well, there was a pride thing around it, but like, the East All-Stars kicked the West All-Stars ass. Like it was a fucking bragging right. Whereas now they're all friends, and I'm like, I get the friendship part. I don't think you have to be mortal enemies. But the tenacity of the game has definitely fallen off.
And it's like, we're not saying you have to treat it like it's Game 7 of the NBA Finals. You don't have to go all out and hurt yourself, but give a little effort. I mean,
Give a fuck.
at least get in front of a dude who's going to drive, or like, don't leave a guy open for every time for a shot, or just walk up the court.
I like that Kobe actually, God rest his soul. He actually fucking tried. He played in all those, and he was up on like LeBron shit. He's like, you're not getting a point, not today. Right. I loved it.
Yeah.
You need more Kobe's.
Any thoughts on the NBA? I know you're not a big.
Yeah.
We're just talking about the NBA All-Star thing really quick.
Can't contribute if I don't know anything.
Good dropping, Marty.
What do you got, Ryan?
I saw that. I don't know if you guys watched the Saturday night stuff. That's what I saw. Like
I saw the 3-point.
skills, the 3-point, and the dunk contest.
Yep.
So yeah, the skills. You see the Spurs trying to cheat.
Yeah, they tried to cheat.
That was the dumbest. I'm so glad they got disqualified. That would have been horrible if they. You're supposed
How
to
did they try to cheat?
So like, there's like a thing where you have to pass a ball, like bounce pass through a hole 3 times, and pass a chest pass through one. Then you got to make a shot, and you have 3 attempts. And after the 3 attempts, if you don't make it, you can automatically move on, which is kind of stupid. You just have to be there till you make it, honestly. So the Spurs, instead of like actually genuinely trying to make a shot, they just like. Threw the balls, like didn't even do nothing.
And they're trying to get the fastest time.
So it's like, it's fastest time wins.
Well, way to be a technical. Well, technically.
So then they were like, they got DQ and they were all like pissed off. And it's like, you're not. It's not the spirit of the event.
Right.
You're like, you're supposed to try. Right. I don't know.
Oh, it's that. I mean, it's an accumulation. It's that bullshit. It's the dunk contest where a guy in the G League,
Dude,
Mac McClung,
he's fucking awesome, by the way.
But he wins the thing. That's
Is that
what
the dude who jumped over the car?
Yeah.
Yes.
Jesus.
But
Christ.
it's like the thing of the player who gives the most does the best fucking dunks. Is it the G League? Like nobody.
Well, he's actually got motivation. He gets like $300,000 from winning that.
I totally understand that, man. But that's just another big point on like. NBA All-Stars not giving a fuck
Well, yeah,
that like this guy in the G League is showing them up and
I
dunking
agree.
over everything.
Yeah, I mean, if the
it's-
stars don't come out or the guys who can dunk don't come out, then
Right.
it's not going to be good. You should almost just get like, I've kind of been saying it before, like get professional dunkers or amateurs of not NBA
Oh yeah,
players.
like the street guys
who
that
actually
do the
dunk. This
yeah.
is like their job, and maybe either they compete or they compete against NBA guys.
like
and maybe,
and one mixtape.
maybe make
too.
the
There
NBA
it
guys
is.
have some pride and like actually have to try. I don't know if they even work or not, but at least we get better dunks.
Very true.
I don't know.
They gotta do some, but I think the NHL is kind of taking the lead on.
Just really quick, Mac McClung was really great. All his dunks were definitely 50s, and also the judges are fucking horrible in the NBA dunk contest. Like some of the dunks, Boutsalis,
Yeah.
he didn't make his dunk, and he got a 40 still. He didn't make it.
You
should
don't
get a
make it.
zero.
It should be zero. Sorry.
Or like a
You didn't-
20 at best,
didn't complete
25. Like, what?
I could brick it.
And
if
then
you
like,
want.
and then the other guys are making like okay dunks or like decent dunks, and it's like 47, 48. And it's like,
Yeah.
that's only 3 points less than what Mac McClung did. There's no way. It's just
No,
like,
I know. Everyone gets an automatic participation, like 40.
I don't think it's that. I think if they want to be like, oh yeah, this should be everything
you on
should
that,
be in
dude.
the
Sorry,
40s.
zero.
More points. The more
Tough
the
shit.
pointization.
I mean, when we grew up watching the dunk contest, even though it wasn't always great, it was at least better. I don't know.
like the stars showing out.
Like stars would come and there would be some at least like a one good dunker or two, and like the judges weren't like just giving you handing out 45s and 50s like candy. You would get a 37 or a 39 or a 35
Right.
or whatever. If you dunk sucked, it sucked. That's your own fault. I don't know.
Your
I'm a
own
big
damn
fan of the
fault.
windmill. I love the windmill dunk.
I mean, I think part of it too is we've seen so many dunks. It's hard to
It's
like
hard to create
Come up with the
something
new ones.
right.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the creativity is whatever, but like there's dunks that can get it. You have to get.
Jordan jumped from the free
You just
throw.
have to do something a little bit different, or
yeah,
you
just
know,
put a
add
little,
in
little
something
twist
else.
on it, right?
Or if you're doing an homage, do the homage right.
Like Zach
it's
Levine did
very-
the free throw line dunk, but it went through his legs. Like,
right. It's
you know.
very simple to do well.
pretty sweet.
And again, the All Stars in the NBA, the MLB it's a joke. Like they all just are palling around. That's fine. NHL does it right. Soccer does. They just have a break, right? There's no actual like not all star, but like all soccer team, right?
No.
No,
That's
I
kind of
don't think
interesting.
so.
I kind of would.
Well, they got to
Because
protect their
right after
assets.
seasons, they got World Cup and they
Oh,
have the
because
all
the
the
international.
they
Okay.
have international games. So a lot of players don't get rest.
okay, that
Yeah.
does make sense
Yeah.
to kind of take that break.
Well,
I
the NBA players now have too much rest. That's all they do is rest. No offense.
Yeah, Embiid is
No
what
offense.
on 4 years.
I mean,
of
like,
resting?
give us a drink. Give us a
Don't
drink.
you gotta drink with me.
on the house.
Sorry, I would say like, like I know it's hard. Like it's 82 games and whatever, but you're getting compensated millions of dollars to do this. And
Jordan did all
You're
82.
you're playing a sport for your job. You know how lucky you are to do that. That you get to, like, that's something people like do on their one night off of work to get away from shit. You could do that for your job.
And they're like complaining like 400 million. I don't know how I'm
People-
going to be able to make that.
Thousands of people pay to watch you play, and like, I don't know. It's just like you should take some pride. Like, like the fans are paying harder money, like all you for these tickets, and then you just sit out because I don't feel like playing. Or I'm a little sore. Like, I don't know. Like,
So this is the one thing I'll say is that as a player, the money that they actually take in is not. If you get a $400 million contract,
well,
you're not getting
taxes
$400
and
million,
agents,
right?
of course. But you're
So it's less.
the bottom line is
let
you're
me-
getting paid to play a sport.
Let me keep going here.
Yeah, go
So when you still make, let's just say $200 million, that is more than enough money that you don't have a worry about money. Okay, you could spend money, you can live crazy or whatever, but like you are now set up for your entire life. At that point, I am on the same page as Ryan of like, this is something that like you should be giving it your all every single time, because honestly, dude, like you don't know if the next step that you take in the fucking league, okay, you mess up your knee, then you're 30, 28 or whatever. Now you're not on a team. Like it could go away like that, and that's why I'm baffled as to some of these guys taking this shit. Like again, I'm not saying for the dunk contest you need to be backflipping and driving off a car or do that shit, but All-Star game, man, it's just another game. Just keep playing like you fucking, like you belong
I get
there.
you. I get you.
Yeah, I mean, there's difference between hurt and injured. You know?
Good point. Good point.
And and I get for certain things like, okay, we got a big game coming up. Maybe you want to do it here and there. But if you're doing multiple games a year, every year, it's not just like a rare thing. It's like a trend. Clearly you are doing this intentionally. It's like how does LeBron get to play 25 years in the NBA? Well, he takes off so many games. I mean,
even his court time.
But he does stay in tremendous shape. Don't get me wrong. He's like really good at taking care of his body and whatever. But still,
give me $1 billion, I'd have a six-pack.
Exactly. You got all these people to help you, dietitians, doctors, whatever, and meal guys. And like, and it helps that you take off games as well. On top of all that, I'm sure it'll make your career last exponentially longer. A normal, back, 90s or whatever.
I got you. Yeah, I mean, again, it's always this time around the All-Star breaks. I think that it's same thing with the NFL. Like when we did that. Now, the combine we already went over, but I think there's just
we got a challenge coming up.
There's just a hatred in the air. I don't like that word, so we're not going to use that challenge.
Why not?
Because it's not a challenge. Okay, to me,
yes, it is.
Oh,
no. To
make
me,
him finish a whole bowl now.
To me, that is exactly what a challenge
Woj
would
has
be.
to. Woj has to finish the whole
a
plate.
a tasting, a sampling.
I challenge you that I'm going to eat more noodles than you. This is a tasting in which we're inciting pain. Like we want the heat that's gonna fucking happen.
I'm nervous.
Somang has these. What do they call, man?
The challenge.
No.
The Fire Noodle
Love it.
Challenge.
Just call it that.
It's just called Fire Noodle Challenge. That's what it's called.
They're fire noodles.
Challenge.
Okay. Drop the last word.
No.
Okay.
The Fire Noodle Challenge.
And it stays.
Google it. YouTube it.
Okay. But
Shit,
this is just
this. Oh man, we're fucked.
This is just an explanation, though, is that if you're expecting me and these other fucking Joe Blows over here
Midwest,
to
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I might not be able to do this.
I mean,
I got acid reflux.
you got-
Legitimately, I have
you
acid
can
reflux.
have-
That's fair.
he's already making his
But the thing is, this is not the worst one. I got the regular
It's-
one.
Alright.
There's
it's gonna
like a
make you
I might be
sweat
able
a
to
little
try a
bit.
bite.
We're
Yeah,
gonna do a
yeah.
couple.
there's
bites.
like twice as much as spicy and the 3 times as spicy, and there's like an atomic
All right,
spicy
we'll figure
one.
it out. No,
All right,
Yeah.
so we got that coming up right after this. Somang is going to be peacing out. Then after that, we're going to do the Shutter Island movie
Yeah.
review. So definitely stick around for that. But
I just came here to watch them suffer.
There you go.
Hey.
Somang likes that shit.
Yes.
So all right, we'll be back in a jiff, and yeah.
Bye.
Good close.
All right, so we got the boys.
Oh, it's gonna be rough.
We got a little bit of that. Oh, okay. Let me zoom in on this shit. So this is what now? This is called Fire Noodle Challenge.
Fire noodle.
Fire noodles.
What's in this? Tabasco.
Dog.
All right, let's see. We're gonna zoom in on.
Man, I was even gonna go there.
All right,
Fucking hilarious.
let's see Bobby's initial reaction. Let's get a little critique.
Take my hat off. It's gonna be hot.
Okay.
Yeah, it's there. It's not bad though. Initially, not bad. Initially, afterburners, way up.
I wanna put a pause screen and then go. Bobby later died.
No, we're good. We're good now. I'm past it.
I mean,
Rip at today's date.
all right. Let's see Ryan. What do you got?
It's the afterburner that'll get you. The initial, it's actually really tasty. Initially, out of the
I'm
gate,
telling you.
good.
It's spicy, but it's got flavor.
It does have flavor.
All right, Ryan seems to be mulling it over.
I don't swallow. It's hot.
Oh, come on, finish up. I gotta get my drink. All right.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right, Ryan, he washes it down with a
There you
nice
go.
sub.
That's actually smart.
All right, big guy. Don't worry, I'll hold the camera.
All right, I just want to get Somang here real quick. So Somang is already like 4 spoonfuls in. He's like, this is delicious. Bobby's going to take the old reins here.
Yeah.
It is spicy, but I'm just saying it's not like it's got flavor, nice flavor.
No, it does. It does. Out of the gate, and now we got our leader.
There we go.
Oh my, that's a bit. Oh, hey.
That's too much. We gotta get a reasonable amount.
Easy now. Easy now.
Ain't no bitch, but you know. All right.
I am. It's okay.
Oh, that's gonna hurt you.
That was a big bite.
It was. Like the commitment.
Yeah, I'm not. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Look at that face. Yeah.
Because I got the full bite. I got it all over.
It's all
I was just on top. Woo.
No, but like I said, not a bad flavor profile. What'd you do?
Ooh.
Giving me shit.
Well, I thought you were gonna act way crazy. I'm not dying,
It still hurts a bit though.
but it's like I think if you eat smaller bite, like I could not finish a whole bowl of this. This would be.
Meanwhile, I mean, he's already almost done with this. Like, you know, just taking big chunks at a time.
Dumb and Dumber.
They slam that on the table. That helps. Oh, he's going in.
But it's got good flavor, doesn't it?
I have a theory.
You're gonna burn your tongue and then just go with it. I get it.
That's called the Homer Simpson principle.
Yep.
Should they cook off? Check it out. What I'm thinking is that first bite kind of coats everything,
That's what I'm thinking.
and then I went in for the second bite. I'm now like what Somang was saying of like flavor. I actually got on the first one, on the second one rather. The first one was just like, fuck, it's hot, and I felt the wave of like heat in my head.
Yep.
But again, it's not the worst. You said there's 2 times and 3 times hotter. We couldn't do this.
Do you like those?
Yeah.
Dude, look at he's almost done
Okay,
already.
hold on. Realistically, is this your go-to, or do you like a different flavor?
There are like many other different flavors that are like added to this.
So this is like the base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is like the
Just
most.
to get a base.
Yeah. Basic one, and they have like cheesy one. They have like carbonara one.
Okay.
They have like different flavors that like add to it.
But those are like not hot. Those are just
They are still spicy.
They're still hot, like
Oh,
almost
it's
like adding a
Same
sweet,
thing,
like
same thing, but they just add like cheese
mango
powder.
habanero.
Yeah.
It's sweet
Yeah.
and
so cheese powder in that.
ooh.
I
Sounds
might
fire.
fuck with that. I don't know.
I agree.
I put it
All
back.
right, there we go.
Woo! It's hot, but it's not. I mean, we
It's
survived.
manageable.
We
yeah.
survived. I can say the next cook-off challenge thing, Bobby and I are definitely going head-to-head on
Yeah.
something.
It's
Well,
getting-
starting to get the nose a little bit.
But
But
head to head on the twice as spicy one.
we
No.
would die. We would die.
Pass.
If I did 3, I did 3. Okay.
I'll
check
take
it.
a bite. Don't worry.
Look at that.
I'm
I did
doubling
3.
up. Yeah, we'll do like steak and potatoes or something like that. Or
We'll do it. We'll figure
do
it out.
something.
But we'll do another cook-off video because those are fun.
Yep.
We want to thank Somang
Yep.
for being on here, man. It's fucking
Look at me, I'm trying to sit like an Asian.
great
There
as
you go.
usual. But movie review, Shutter Island coming up a little bit. So grab a drink. We'll see you there.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. All right. yeah.
Welcome back, Journeymen Lounge podcast listeners. Woj is still recovering from the heat challenge.
My lips are a little tingly, man.
Right.
Not gonna lie.
Booty
But
on fire.
I was proud. Ryan also took a bite. He's managing. They weren't too bad. Like I said, I think after that initial afterburn, you're pretty much good to go after that because it's everything's seared.
I had a sandwich full of mayo to help.
That helps.
I'm not gonna lie. Washing it down with a sub, probably like top scenario.
Yeah, well, outside of ice cream or something like that, I guess. Yeah.
But not bad. I'm glad we tried it. We filmed our experience. I'm sure that's gonna be plopped in here either in the middle or towards the end or something. But
I mean, I'm gonna just go right from the first segment right
Okay,
into it. I
perfect.
think it follows because then Somang, obviously, as people are seeing here, he had to go.
Mm-hmm.
But we are getting into Jesus
Scorsese, our
Christ.
final of the trifecta.
To get the lung up there. So we got Shutter Island. Okay, and I'm gonna talk to the audience now. So
You okay, Shatner?
I know, right?
Captain's log.
Captain's log.
don't know where I'm going.
Can't remember.
You were pitching it perfect. I was like, is he doing a bit?
I can't remember what movie we're doing.
No, it's all good. I was just fucking around. All right, so we have Shutter Island.
Shutter Island.
This is the last trifecta of the trifecta for Scorsese.
Martin Scorsese.
I don't remember the year, but I'm gonna pull it up.
It's
Wow, way to do a little
2010.
little research.
2010. So this is
February. I
prime.
believe it was February of 2010.
I don't know the month. But this is like really prime DiCaprio, prime Scorsese, I think.
That is correct.
You know, I mean, I was kind of thinking about like, oh, we did Departed with Leo, now we did Shutter Island with Leo. I think it's just a comment on like how good Scorsese films are, because I mean, I think the podcast audience definitely knows. I'm not the biggest on the horror, and this isn't
Or
really
suspense.
horror, but like, you know, more of the
mystery,
suspense, jump scares, stuff like that. It's not my
This has horror elements.
not my cup
little
of
bit,
tea normally.
Her-
This, I think, and you'll kind of see throughout the discussion here, is like the plot of it is. I love the idea of the plot. It's done very well, and then as you watch it back, you then start to notice more things of, you know, the contributing to the plot. So what I mean by that is that
you have a different lens after you've seen it one time to maybe focus and pay attention on different things.
right, you just start picking more stuff
Yeah.
up. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, we should almost do like a spoiler-free synopsis and a spoiler synopsis, because it's two different movies in a sense. Like, you know, if you,
Well, I mean,
from a different.
like the first time you see it, it's a different type of movie.
You're right.
Compared to the second time where you're.
You're right. I understand his concept. Yeah.
I don't think that it's a different movie.
Oh, it's 100%
I
different.
think for me personally, it was more of a.
I think it's almost two movies if I could go into
It is.
You know what's going to happen, okay, and that takes away some of the suspense there. But at the same time,
He's
you
still
definitely,
dying a
it's
bit.
just clogged up now, man. But you definitely pick up on certain things that, again, they're not extremely noticeable at times, and then they definitely are. And just like in terms of when you're watching any movie, I think that's kind of where I'm landing on this. Is just like when you're watching any movie multiple times, like you start to just notice more shit. Like I get what you're saying is like it's a completely different movie.
It's way
I
different.
I don't agree. I think
think
it's
that
just
there's layers.
You're
You're right.
getting more information. You're noticing more shit, but it doesn't. To me, it doesn't alter it. Although I will say this movie 100% was one of those where I
Let me collect your thoughts.
watched it and then it was a oh shit, like at the reveal I was like, what the fuck is happening? I was beside myself when the very first time you watch it and you get the big reveal. That's where I kind of went crazy. So what do you got to say, Ryan?
I think it's two different movies. Like the first time you see it, it's a completely different. So like if we were giving like a spoiler-free one,
Yeah, go ahead.
two detectives U.S. Marshals in 1954 visit on an island,
World War II. Yep.
a mental institution or facility
mental facility.
where they're looking. Well, same thing, whatever. They're looking for a missing patient, Rachel Zalando, who this patient had murdered her kids, and I believe was the story. And like the whole time is like it's kind of mysterious and weird things are happening. There's like is the staff doing this or where this patient
There's
go?
some shadiness kind of.
Well, and then like Leo suspecting different people of different things. Then it, his partner goes missing, and then it's like, what? Or was it even his partner? Like he's like questioning.
I like
things.
that. I like that synopsis. And then
Then if spoiler review. By the end of it, you figure out there's the missing patient they're looking for is him. He is the missing patient, the 67th patient. They're doing this whole exercise for him to snap him back to reality because he has been the most brutal, lethal patient they've had, hurting orderlies, hurting patients.
like kind of a PTSD, but also like he pulls himself away from his own
Because of his
consciousness.
background of his World War II background / being a marshal / what happened with
Witnessing
his
his-
wife and their kids. Well, we're gonna spoil, but she
we'll spoil now.
It's
she
been out for
murdered
14
them in
years.
in their lake at the lake house. She drowned the 3 kids and didn't even realize what she did was like wrong. And like he came home to it, and then he killed her. So they're all dead, and that's what made him snap. So like, but like the Woj is kind of getting at every time you watch it after the first time, now that you know the secret, you're picking things
Yeah,
up.
you know Kaiser Soze this time around.
Right. It's like Fight Club. You after you've seen Fight Club.
Yes, agreed. Good
It's
comparison.
like, oh, okay. So this was actually.
Now you see things
This is what
differently.
actually happened. He was actually, this guy was in on it, or this.
Right. You
like,
see it in a
could,
different
like
lens.
little looks from like Mark Ruffalo, like in the one scene where they're interviewing the woman in the cafeteria, and
Yeah, where he's kind of deterring
or
her.
the one guy. he grabs his wrist, and then Mark Ruffalo kind of gets Leo, and then you can see him like gesture to the orderlies, like, come here, like,
Yeah, or like get close.
or she like looks at him at the table, like, where's this Dr. Sheehan? And he's Dr. Sheehan. We don't know this yet.
Right.
And she looks at him, and he's like, it's like, oh, like that makes more sense
The
now.
whole water. Could you give me a glass of water?
Right, and just different things. So like for rewatchability, it kind of has that element of it where it's like, okay, I'm gonna pick new things up every time. However, the counter, it's not the same as the first time you watch it, where it kind of feels like this horror mystery. What's going on at this island with these like patients and the staff?
This facility is kind of
this
weird.
U.S.
yeah.
Marshals uncovering this investigation and whatever, but it turns out that's not exactly the story. So that's what I would say.
I get you.
Yeah,
good run.
I'm not refuting any part of that. I would just maybe mention
We didn't mention the doctor all that much.
that the Dr. Cawley is like
That's Ben Kingsley.
Ben Kingsley.
Kingsley.
Sir Ben Kingsley.
So,
Uh,
Ben Kingsley.
So he is a psychiatrist, doctor, whatever. Doctor
He's like
of
the
psychiatry.
head doctor. Or?
Yeah,
Right.
he runs the institution, and he is
He's
undergoing.
progressive,
This is like a breakthrough.
Treatment.
Radical experiment.
Yeah.
Right. So breakthrough experiment in that it's submersive. It's giving into the delusions of the patient to hopefully
Snap
have
him out
the
of it,
person have the person snap out of this and basically realize what they've done, because what you find out at the very end of it is that if they cannot succeed with this person, he's 2 years, he is injured, killed, at
he's a
least killed
danger.
one, definitely injured many
ruined
people.
that guy's face, like
Possibly killed other people. We don't know. They didn't go into detail. And if he does not
lobotomy.
he does not create. Yeah, if he does not. Yep,
Sorry, I took the.
it's
wind
all
out
right,
of
man.
your
You just
sail.
keep. It's all good.
Yeah,
man.
but you were just circling. That.
I'm trying to explain it, and when you just keep cutting out, like I'm getting to lobotomy.
You were like
if you let
John
me.
Mad, and you're like, well, around the facility, dude. Just
No,
land
okay.
the plane, baby.
I
You're
was
in a
getting
holding
there.
pattern.
Just
All right,
we're good.
I love
man.
you, man. Sorry, didn't
All
mean
right,
to do it.
That's all good.
I'll pull back.
Well, sorry.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I'm sorry. No, go
He
ahead.
fucking hates us right now.
What do you want to say? Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna ask. I thought they weren't gonna. I thought they were gonna kill him rather than lobotomize them. Or were they gonna lobotomize
No,
them?
lobotomize them.
Okay, I thought they were gonna kill him.
That
There-
whole ending quote is exactly.
No, I know. I thought they said, but I thought they were gonna kill him. I didn't know it was lobotomized.
No,
No,
this
lobotomized.
place is made to be. I think it's called Asheville, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think they're in the story as they're bringing Leo and giving into his delusions. They make it seem like they are murdering, lobotomizing people here. I think the lobotomized part of it is actually still true. I think it's just like this institution cannot operate as like, hey, they're just going to like a horror film where they go and they murder the criminally insane. Like it's not that type of institution. They're still trying to help people.
But I think
you
it's
get
the
that.
worst of the worst because they are in fact on an island almost like Alcatraz, where it's like it's almost protected from the general public because they can't really go anywhere.
Well, electric fences and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think that, again, it does not explicitly say that
Right.
they are going to murder, like kill him. Like, because that seems like a weird thing. Like you wouldn't be able to have, whether it's U.S. government sanctioned or not, I don't think you would have the ability to just be like, this guy's been hurting too many people and he's mentally incapable, mentally insane. Now we're going to kill him.
I'm just saying in the 50s, it's all written record.
Fair
So
point, fair
could you like throw him down a stairwell, crack his head open, and say he fell, and then just bring him to the morgue? Sure.
I think you could get away with a lot in the 50s. I think they were, my personal opinion, I think they're going to lobotomize him where he's no longer going to
A
be
threat, yeah,
a
because now
threat, but he's not dead.
You're
Which,
probably right. Yeah.
not necessarily lobotomy is going to be the life of the party, but
That was still a practice, like, so for at least being of, in the 50s, they did do lobotomies. Like, that still existed. It was a prevalent thing prior to World War II, but yeah, it still was an option for mental health at that point, too. So,
right. So let's get into scenes.
love it.
I'm going to go just the kind of normal two categories, like just favorite scenes, and then I got a couple cinematic shots. In terms of like because this is set in the 50s, and then they do flashbacks to even before that, so probably like late 40s. Oh, you got a question?
Yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Before we got into
You
this,
cracked your finger as well, so I was
before we
like,
got into the
what's up?
scenes, I was just gonna ask you guys. The first time you saw this movie, did you see the twist coming or no? Or did you?
Oh no, not at all.
I didn't at all either. I went on a date and then
Ooh.
seen it was whatever.
Is this the same girl?
No, it was different. But and then by the end of it, when the scene happened, I'm like, oh shit, that makes so much sense. But I did not see it coming at all. I didn't even think about it. Like, so I was just curious if you guys had the similar, if you had seen it coming or
No, I was blown
if you were
out of the
surprised as
water.
well.
No, I think it was a really oh shit moment, and then like. I don't think that if you're watching it in a theater, I don't think you're picking up on the like. It's subtle, but it's not in certain times, as you mentioned before, of like again the looks that some people say. And then what I picked up this time as I watched through it is like when they're explaining what Solando, the woman did. It's trying to connect back to his past of like this is what your wife did. And then her husband, which is I thought was weird, is that they said then the husband like died in something else, which I would have thought they would have like tried to play into that, like oh yeah, and then she got she killed him or whatever. But yeah, I just like it's subtler when you're watching it for the first time. So I don't know many people that would be like, yeah, I knew Leo was the patient the whole time.
Yeah, bullshit. I'd say.
I think maybe towards the end you have a little bit of an inclination, like what the fuck is going on? Like there's something aloof here.
Am I the only one? Sorry, before we get into scenes, that the other primary doctor, the German,
Max von Sydow.
I thought he was
Dr.
going to have
Mayhem.
more of a dark evil role, where like in his like in this film, but he really kind of not fades to black or fades out, but he kind of does. So I was expecting more of a presence by him in the later scenes.
I think it's kind of implied from Leo's perspective the first time you see it that maybe he's like that guy's doing some weird experiments.
Well,
on the
I think
patients.
I think they pulled him like
Or whatever.
Operation Paperclip.
And he had the sedative on him in the one scene. He was going to stick Leo with it, and then Leo turned it back on him. But obviously, every time you see it now, you're like, oh, he knows that they're doing the experiment,
playthrough, yeah.
and he's got to just go along with it. But he still like doesn't trust Leo or whatever. I'm assuming he also, like him and the warden who played by Ted Levine, they don't like this thing, and Ben Kingsley's the one who's championing it and trying to, this like before the last resort, like
this
you guys
is his
said,
Alamo, yeah,
the lobotomy or whatever. That's my interpretation. At least.
Yeah, to me it seems like it's a red herring. They're
Right.
just trying to get your attention to like this guy's doing something fucking
dude.
weird.
I bid
so,
on that line
so
for
Leo has to do. I think we all did to some extent. But yeah, definitely getting that guy to take your focus as like the villain. Then I think at some point it maybe switches to Dr. Cawley because he's like trying to be like,
Right.
I'm helping you, and then you're like, oh well, what's he's got? And then,
Right. And then the one part he's like, where's my partner? He's like, what partner? You don't have a partner. You never had
Right.
a partner.
Yeah, then you're starting to like go like, what's
what?
happening
Dude,
with that?
I think that even opens up to one of my favorite scenes is
Sure, go ahead.
that exact revelation where he's up in the lighthouse, comes storming in with a weapon because he disarmed the guard, and that's where he's like, wait, basically gives him the full detail. He's like, you are this person, blah 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 is blah blah blah, and I apologize, I forget the names.
Well, the names are anagrams.
Yeah, anagrams of
They're
one
the
another.
same letters, but
His name is Andrew
script.
Latis,
Yes.
and the name of the marshal is Teddy Daniels.
So yeah.
And he said, we didn't talk about it, but Andrew Latis was the guy who burned down his apartment or his house or whatever.
Andrew Latis
The
was
arsonist.
okay. So it's a subplot where Teddy Daniels, the marshal, is looking after the person because in his mind, in
There's another
Teddy's
person who's
mind,
an arsonist. Yeah.
the wife died because she got burned alive in an apartment fire by Andrew Latis.
Who in his mind is Elias
Murderer,
Koteas.
Elias Koteas, who's like another prisoner, and he supplants that guy as the prisoner 67, the unknown person.
And he wants to look for him while he's at the facility. It was one of the reasons he took this case was because
Right.
he's supposed to be at the facility
So
C or whatever.
it's a nice thing, I think, in this game of like, like where the people draw the yarn threads to the thing.
Yeah.
I think it's very much in that of like, here's this, and you have a string tied to this,
Right.
to the name, to the blah.
The connections are there.
I love it.
And then the Rachel Zalando character is his wife's name.
Anagram.
Anagrammed Michelle
Dolores.
Williams, Dolores something.
Yep.
And then Rachel was the name of his daughter, who was the one that he found in the lake, who he dreams about every night, who he sees her face. She says, why couldn't you save us or whatever, I believe.
Yeah,
it was.
his oldest daughter, I think, or something like that.
So that all ties in, like you were saying, to that, and then of course like we were saying, the scene that actually reveals what really happened. They keep flashing it to it the whole movie, kind of. They're hinting at elements of it, like his brain is partially remembering things, but it's like scrambling it with other things, right?
Like I said, it's trauma. It's suppressed trauma.
It's absorbing the two
different
lie and the truth,
right?
Combined. Like perfect example
Blurred
is like
lines.
when he's in the apartment in the flashback or hallucination with Dolores. She's sopping wet,
Right.
but there have fire
There's
all
fire
around,
all
and
around
then
her.
blood from her stomach comes out. So like his mind is combining the two.
And then he has the dream where he sees the one Rachel with the murdered children, and that's what his wife actually did.
Right.
And she keeps saying, "Why you all wet, baby?" Which is the line that he said to her when he saw her on the gazebo.
All things considered, man. I mean, I could see someone actually going through something like this. Honestly, like that's a tough pill to swallow. Now, is he innocent in all this? No, we know that he was a drunk when he came back from the war. Call it like self-medicating, and he kind of led a very like troubled, home environment. It's not like he walked in like, "Hey, baby, how's your day? Let me take the kids." Like that. It seemed to me, at least my take on it, wasn't like he was this big supportive.
Well,
I think the reasoning is that he had post-traumatic stress syndrome,
PTSD for sure,
Well,
but
because of seeing the
being in the war.
and they said his wife had issues that
she had mental
he
issues
ignored.
herself, too.
He was told about to check her into here, do this or do that, and he ignored
She was
it.
like, what, manic depressive? And
Right. Yes.
Yeah, I was just saying that the post-traumatic stress syndrome comes from him seeing, and they flash back to him multiple times. It's not my favorite flashback. Again, I prefer the happier ones. I think they fit in real well with the music. But then they have the terror flashbacks of him like going through a concentration camp at Dachau and seeing a SS officer who tried to kill himself as they were going in, and he botched it. And like half of his face is hanging off. So they're pretty graphic in this for sure. But again, I definitely preferred the happier memories just because, again, they had the music playing. They had the aesthetic looks great.
we could go into scenes. Sorry, we've been skipping around it a lot.
Oh, we're doing scenes. We're just going into
Throw them out. Scenes.
I was actually countered to Woj. I actually love the World War II flashback dream
they were
sequences.
great. It's a great scene. It's just
they're like really well shot, and like the guy tried to kill himself and he fucked up, and Leo lets him bleed out basically, and then they have a firing squad with all the Nazi soldiers who were, torturing the Jews or whatever, keeping them locked up, and just like there's all the bodies, like horrible shit. But I'm saying, but it's filmed incredibly well. Like,
oh yeah, it's great cinematically. Just not my favorite scenes. Is one of them.
Two of mine are the interview when I think they're in the like cafeteria where he's interviewing the
crazy
one lady
guy and the lady.
Yeah, I really like that one, as well as the cemetery scene where the storm picks up and they have to take shelter in a mausoleum.
Yes.
And like kind of just that dialogue, that walk through, it makes it for me. It made him more human. It made like this, like it felt like a more real case that he was attempting to solve, I guess. I don't know.
Well, a movie like this is kind of, I would say, harder for us to do with our format, kind of.
It is.
Because it's like, it's kind of like a whole package as opposed to scenes. Like, it is scenes, but like, it's more of like when you're watching it, like the feel and the mood and the
it flows into
the tension
one another,
and like the mystery, and you don't know what's happening. As opposed to like, maybe like Goodfellas or something where it's like, okay, this is the one scene, this is the other one. He's kind of like work together, blend together to make the complete thing by the end of the movie, the big reveal and everything like that. You know what I mean?
They don't compartmentalize it all that much. Is that what you're trying to?
No, I agree that it's a different film, especially just adding in flashbacks and stuff like that. As I think Goodfellas, as you brought up as an example, is like start here, go back, and then get to here, and then beyond it. It's not linear, but it is at least kind of like a quick change. This is like going back, going flashback, going. Like it continues to happen, so it ends up being a little bit of a tough to kind of like do. I'm just kind of picking out scenes in general that I was like, this scene was either done well, like you said with the concentration camp scene. I think another scene that was great is when he's in the setting is in the psychiatry, Dr. Cawley's like study with the fireplace, and he's talking to Elias Costas, and he's got like a very distinct face. He said like he's got a scar from eyebrow to chin. He's got one eye a different color, yellow teeth and shit. But that talking and like again, as you're learning after the fact, this guy isn't fucking there. He's talking to himself, but he's like doing this. He's very convincing, and then at like the peak of it, he's basically leaning in, like for the guy to light a cigarette. I like that shot right there. It's always a fucking nice little. Again, shot very well. What else you got? Scenes.
I like the chase scene in the prison.
Yeah, I had the
after the storm. How terrified would those residents be? They're most, crazed lunatic of a patient, and they just had all their this huge almost like hurricane come through. Yeah. All their security measures outside of people being guards. Yeah, and they got to clear it. I'd be nervous. That's all.
When Leo and Mark Ruffalo visit the Ward C, which is like the worst of the worst wards.
It's creepy as fuck.
Yes.
And he's attacked by a bald patient, and Leo chases him throughout the thing, starts beating him up, and then Mark Ruffalo and another orderly take him away, and Leo explores on his own, and he finds George Noyes, he mentions him before. He's like a guy who was.
He tipped him off about the place.
Right, so he's like an ally in a sense in his mind. And then George Noyes literally tells him and us, the audience, what's going on. We don't know it at the time because if the first time you see it, at least he's like, "This is all for you. You're a rat in a maze. This whole thing, you're never gonna get out."
You know what? I didn't realize that, but yeah, that's when I think it was all kind of put front and center.
Right, and then he starts hallucinating again. He sees Michelle Williams, and he's like, "If you don't,
she's low key hot.
If you don't ignore her,
right?
She's hot. Yeah. If you don't ignore her, you're never gonna leave here." So yeah, I thought that was a cool scene.
Okay, I like the Ted Levine. And if you don't know who Ted Levine is, you gotta look him up.
Buffalo Bill,
among other things.
Awesome.
He does this creepy "God loves violence" monologue with Leo, after he kind of picks him up at the very end here.
They're in a Jeep.
He's in a Jeep, and he's talking real low and sinister. I thought that was fucking great.
That was good. Yeah, great scene.
And then I mean, it's heartbreaking, but this is why Leo is such a great actor. Is that when he's picking up his kids out of the lake and he's acting like a person who just lost his entire family, or his kids at least, it's great acting.
I forget the comedian, but he's maybe it's Bill Burr. You should never hit a woman. He's like, that's a real strong word, never, because after a story a situation like this, my wife just murdered all 3 of our children.
Yeah,
I think his reaction is appropriate.
Shoots her in the chest.
I know. I'm just saying. I would understand. It's not saying that it's wrong or not right.
All right, moving on.
Yeah.
So, in terms of anybody last scenes before I get
when he goes down the cliff because he thought Mark Ruffalo fell off.
Dude, he fucking scales up and down that bitch.
Dude, yeah, hats off. Holy shit.
He finds the paper
Free climbing.
that Mark Ruffalo got from the Ward C. No body. The personnel file. And then on the coast is just hundreds and hundreds of rats. Then he has to go back and he sees a cave, which he sees the real Rachel, or he thinks is the real Rachel.
Yeah, in the fake story, the real Rachel.
Right, she doesn't exist, right?
He's hallucinating that.
Right, I just want to make sure because that was my take after seeing it twice. So the first time I thought she was a real, patient that was living by whatever means necessary on the island.
She was a former doctor, she said, who was hiding out to escape from the.
They ripped her of her credentials and then
basically made her a patient. Yeah.
The fuck was that?
We're seeing the bulls and
So this is a story that I think it becomes much better to you if you really soak in the details of this person says the idea that he makes up in his mind is that this psychiatrist or this doctor was asking too many questions, and then she was put away in the thing, but then that person doesn't actually exist. The other Rachel was a nurse, and the thing, it's it's put together very well in terms of that.
Definitely.
I just have cinematic shots, so any last scenes?
I guess one quick thing we didn't mention was what I like when two quick things. When he blows up the car.
Yeah, that's cool.
The nice red 50s car.
Why the hell do you have a nice car on?
I don't know. That was cool.
I mean, we'll talk about the money.
And then, of course, the final scene, the
Sitting on the steps.
asking us the audience is what do we believe which is basically, did the treatment work? Did Andrew Leo realize that he's gonna inevitably end up in this cycle again, where he's gonna go crazy and forget all the stuff he just learned? So he's like, fuck it. He has this. Well,
say the quote, but then he goes back to reset. Like it's a failed thing.
So
Is at the very
basically,
end.
it's like he's gonna get lobotomized because he knows at this current moment he's thinking clearly.
Ashcliff, not Ash.
He's thinking
Ashcliff.
clearly,
Ashcliff.
and he's gonna go out, and it's like, oh, did he realize he's doing that, or because he's pretending like he's gonna do the investigation again?
Right, it's a
And
total
then,
reset.
but then he
and
has this line.
But that's where the doctor shakes his head. He's like, damn it.
He's like, so what's our next move? And he's like, you tell me. He's like, I gotta get off this rock, Chuck. Get back to the mainland.
But go ahead.
Whatever the hell's going on here, it's bad. And he's like, don't worry, partner. They're not going to catch us. That's right. We're too smart for them. Yeah, are we? And he's like, this place makes me wonder. Yeah, what's that, boss? Which would be worse, to live as a monster or to die as a good man? And that's what kind of makes you think, like, oh, maybe he... Because my opinion is he knows that he's doing this intentionally, that he... At this present moment, he has a clear mind.
Moment of loose,
and he knows he's going to be a danger again, so he's just like, fuck it, just do it, kind of thing.
I think that he does have a lucid moment, but I also feel that it's almost shrouded, and then eventually he will reset again. He's not willing or ready to take on what he did. He's not willing to accept that reality yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just more of mental illness. Is still it's not just something that you can shock into him understanding that it's that.
I like this approach though, trying to at least play it out as best you can to maybe bring him full circle. But like I said, at that time that'd be very progressive, very fringe.
I like endings like that in movies or books where it makes you think.
A little obscure.
Kind of leaves it kind of open, where it's like kind of like Sopranos, oh, did he get shot? Did he not get shot?
Well, you gave us a great.
Well, I know
based on the clip.
Did.
Tony's dead.
I don't know anybody who watches that clip. It's on Facebook or some shit.
No, I know.
But it goes through everything of the director's intention to this.
Sure.
I know what you're saying, just in generality.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I don't know anybody now who's a Tony Soprano is alive believer.
No.
Well, when you rewatch a series, they have different things they hint at. You don't see anything, you don't hear anything.
The last thing you heard
Cuts
was
to
the
black.
ring.
Different things they talk about.
Of course.
Meadow witnessed it happen in real time. All right.
Yeah. So, but that's what I would say.
Okay. So, cinematic shots.
Yeah, I had Leo going down the cliffs, Leo heading up the spiral staircase, and basically any of the World War II sequences I thought were fantastic. That's what I had.
The fire and water, you already called it out. Where
Right.
Oh yeah,
she's
blowing up
standing
the car,
there in this
yeah.
inferno, but she's dripping wet.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
Oh, he's talking about the car gets
Yeah,
blown
but
up
he's
right
right
by the,
too. Yeah, yeah.
right by the.
And then the children just float. I guess that's that almost traumatized me, seeing three little bodies floating in small bog or still water. Trying to witness that. Imagine if that was your own kids. I would fucking snap too. There's no fucking way that my outcome wouldn't be different, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna go with the main island shot as you go up to Ashcliff.
The ferry?
Is the ferry, which is Paddocks Island in Boston somewhere or off the coast. Pretty cool. And then the other one is the manacled, is what they title her as, the manacled woman. It's the first chick that he meets. Patient that is in the walkway.
You talking about Smeagol?
And she just does one of these with the eyes.
Yeah.
And it's this is creepy as
The lady looks like
shit
fucking
right here.
Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
Is that the girl working on the yard and yeah?
Doing the doesn't have hair, her hair is kind of falling out and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, the those are the only not only but cinematic shots. So we're good there.
We're good.
Okay, so as we get into kind of cast and others, I do want to kind of bring up here. So Scorsese, I'm not saying he's taking he's a great director, but I feel like this is a little bit more outside of the norms of movies that he had done. Kind of to this point, I don't know, you guys have a movie that fits in the
I would just say
Shutter Island that's in that everything more was, to me, it was more towards the drama.
I think it might have been a challenge for him, something
dramatic kind of.
Yeah, I would kind of piggyback off what Bobby said. I think that Scorsese has a lane where like he's like his specialty is like mob kind of stuff, like Mean Streets, Goodfellas, Casino, Departed, stuff like Wolf of Wall Street, even kind of like adjacent to that, where it's like a similar structure and feel with music and funny characters and like quick funny dialogue or like stuff like that.
Right.
He has a lot of transitions.
But then he has
usually,
other
too.
ones where he kind of goes like Oppo, where he has like Last Temptation of Christ.
Right.
That was an
Kundun, Silence, this, he did Hugo, like the animated movie.
I liked
Right,
Hugo.
right.
Like every now and then, I think like Bobby said, he wants to challenge himself and kind of do something out of the norm, like, step away from it.
And I think it goes like just the way that this movie flows, or just the directive of it, just seems a little bit different. Like I said, it's not his standard.
But I definitely would think that. I mean, like to me, like I wouldn't like if you didn't know it was Scorsese, I wouldn't know off the bat. Like,
Right?
oh,
No,
this is
I didn't think his
Scorsese.
scene structure followed some of his other like previous movies. I
I
guess.
think he does well when he ventures out. Like everything, like even Hugo. I haven't seen it, but I heard it's still well put together
enjoy it.
movie. But yeah, I mean he does great when he's in this lane or like switching lanes over here.
What a talent though to be good at, like you could throw him almost into any mix.
Definitely. I do also want to mention here. So I got Laeta Kalogridis and Dennis Lehane. These are the producers and writers, and I think you guys would be interested to know. So Laeta Kalogridis wrote the screenplay for Alita: Battle Angel,
Yeah,
Okay.
there we go.
Terminator Genesis.
They all can't be winners, now can they?
Jeez, right there.
I'm still disgusted by how that conversation turned out on Alita, but I digress.
And then Dennis Lehane had done like Live by Night with Ben Affleck. Wasn't that great? Mystic River, he wrote
Mystic
the novel,
River is good.
novel for. And then I heard Blackbird is a TV show on Apple that I heard was fucking great.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, I just wanted to call out those writers.
My daughter in there. Sorry, that was Mr. River.
I got you, man. I just got another couple quick quotes, not quotes, but cast member. Leo's the best. I mean, to
He's
me,
so good.
he's a generational talent.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I don't know. Do you guys differ on that opinion?
No.
He's-
He's the best actor of our generation.
I think so. I think it's hands down
That's actually a fair assessment. I would agree.
He like the best.
body of work.
I mean, if you think about like when we've grown up, our whole life, we're like in our 30s. Like if you can name like 4 people whose movies you're probably gonna see: Leo, Denzel,
Malkovich.
Tom Hanks back in the
Malkovich was really
day.
good.
He's more.
Who?
Of
John Malkovich.
Malkovich is good, but he's not like a leading.
I'm a
he
Malkovich
is and he isn't.
guy, but
What
not,
about
not
Sean?
in this
or,
category.
hold on, I always pronounce his last name. Is it not Sean McAvoy? I think he's
James McAvoy?
James McAvoy. I think is an
I think he could
incredible
get there, but
actor.
Leo's got.
You're right, Leo. I get it.
Was he in films in the 80s? No, I think just
No,
early
he started
90s.
in the 90s.
I mean, he's got 3 decades though
Right. No,
of straight up band like this.
And-
he's
this-
on the Mount
he'll-
Rushmore.
He'll
Sure.
still produce more.
Right, and he does different roles, different movies. Like
I think he's hands down.
Hands. Yeah. There's
Yeah.
no argument here.
I don't know. What's your guys' thoughts on Ruffalo? In terms of, I put Ruffalo.
in
I
this
think
movie or in general.
I think he's a good number 2. I can't get behind
Casting
him.
couch.
Not necessarily casting couch. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. What's your guys' thoughts on Mark Ruffalo?
There were 2 alternate castings before that were, if it weren't Ruffalo, it could have been Robert Downey Jr., which I would have loved. I'm not gonna lie.
That would have been, I think, a great
Or
run.
Josh Brolin was also in consideration.
Oh my God.
Which again, I think also probably
Win-win.
better. I do like Mark Ruffalo though. I'm not saying I don't. I do like Mark Ruffalo. He's a very good
Sure.
actor. He's got a lot of. I think he's got good range as well. He's in different projects, different movies. For this movie, I think he's good. Could there be better people? Yeah, I think so. I guess the one negative I would have with him is he's not the only one, but his use of the Boston accent is not great.
Right. We'll get to picking this.
No, I'm just saying, if you text me about Mark Ruffalo, that's what I would say for this movie specifically.
Okay. Yeah. I was definitely thinking of Mark Ruffalo in general. And in any movie, I look back at it, I'm like, I think he's great.
I like Mark Ruffalo, yeah.
Like a second fiddle guy, a co-cast, co-lead.
He's good. He's great.
Fine. I can't remember a movie though where I'm like, oh, that Mark Ruffalo film when like he's the lead. I don't think a lot of people are like, yeah, that's great. Not a slight against him, just throwing that out there.
Really good Mark Ruffalo movie. If you guys haven't seen it, Dark Waters came out like in 2019.
Okay.
It's about the Michigan or the Detroit or Michigan water scandal thing.
Interesting.
Oh, okay.
It's very good.
Might check that out.
There's one casting couch. You guys would. I don't think you guys would know him, but I thought he would be a good stand-in, possible. But he's not as talented. He's not Scott MacArthur.
Who the fuck is
Scott MacArthur. Let me just.
Did we go to high school with him?
No, he's this guy. He's on the mic. He takes more comedic roles.
Okay.
But I'm thinking in him in terms of like a 1950s suit.
Could be.
And, I just think he has maybe the machismo to pull off this role, to be quiet enough to allow Leo to take center, stage and provide, backup.
Are we doing the casting couch now?
Yeah, might as well.
I had one more if we were just doing to get over with.
Sure.
I think Ted Levine is great, but I think that would be better. Clancy Brown. He is obviously he does a lot of things. He's been the voice of Mr. Krabs. He's been Shawshank. He's the bad lead guard. He's been in tons of things.
Clancy Brown. Okay, I get it.
He's in He was in Dexter, New Blood.
He's a good asshole. Yeah.
So
That's a good choice. You're right.
but that Ted Levine was good. But I think Clancy Brown. I kept thinking he was in it and he wasn't. I'm like, oh, I think he'd be great in this.
Yeah, I definitely don't have a recasting couch at all. I think it was done very well. Even like again the quick characters like Emily Mortimer, Patricia Clarkson, who kind of pop in for a little bit. They played the roles well. The guy who I mean, it's one of the favorite guys that you probably are like. It kind of qualifies as that guy. John Carroll Lynch.
Yep, I have him down too.
That was
John Carroll Lynch as Warden McPherson. I mean, this guy is phenomenal. He's in a bunch of shit. Zodiac Killer. He does what's
The Walking Dead. He's in lots of things.
I mean, just a bunch of shit.
The founder. He's one of the McDonald brothers.
Oh yeah,
Right.
he'd be a good add-on.
I think he's great in whatever he's in. I think he was great in this as well. He also does a Boston.
He's also the only. Yeah, exactly.
Does a Boston accent well.
He's the only one who did the accent well.
I did say for the Switcheroo.
I had him too. As I say. Yeah.
And then we can't go without mentioning Sir Ben Kingsley. These are not that guys, but Sir Ben Kingsley, Max von Sydow. I mean, these guys are historic actors. They've had a career of.
You're talking about like who's the best supporting in this movie?
I'm not necessarily supporting. I'm just needing to mention that, again, you guys had recasting. I don't think that there's any need for recasting because these guys were so great.
Oh, they're good. Yeah.
And I mean, you get a Max von Sydow to play like a secondary part, not even ancillary, like even beyond.
What if we had Anthony Hopkins as an ancillary, just kind of in a scene?
Ooh, I like that.
Like just like as one of the inmates.
I mean,
Like just as a passing, that would be kind of.
I feel
cool.
like he would have been instead of Max von Sydow or Ben Kingsley. He'd been one of those roles as one of the doctors. If he had him in there.
In my vision, he's like just a quick scene where it's like, holy shit, was that
I also put Jackie Earl Haley, man, as Greg Noyce.
For that guy. Or in general, or what are you talking about?
No, again, it's still on the same point of just the. I mean, in terms of that guy, man, there's.
I don't know what point. That's what I was asking.
But I mean, like, I don't get what your classification is of that guy.
That guy is he's a guy you see in a lot of movies. You don't necessarily know his name. Like, or most people wouldn't know his name. It's that guy.
I like, dude. Jackie Earl Haley is in. He's Rorschach.
What do you mean?
Yeah. I'm just saying is like.
It's pretty simple. We've been doing this for like 70 shows.
That's fine. I'm just saying is like.
I mean, that guy varies with people. That guy for you might not be that guy for me, but
true.
It's
I'm just saying
that's what we're talking about.
You have said a couple times of like you've done that guy category, and then we've named like 4 people. I'm like, I don't know.
It can be more than one, dude.
True, it can be more than one, but not 4. All right,
it can be as many as you want. It can be.
I like that you two are going at, and I get to watch.
Well,
this
Mr. I gotta limit myself to offend people.
I'm not saying limiting. I'm just saying is that if you keep. Saying,
I love the
emotional. This guy.
Yeah, but everybody knows everybody. That's why there could be multiple that guys. Like in a Tarantino movie, you could have like 7 that guys. I
agree. There could be multiple.
Well, clearly you don't agree because you said there could be more than 4.
4 seems like a lot. All right, so
let it go.
This is the guy who can only golf April through September.
I love that.
I don't know how those two are connected.
Because you're restricted.
Go fuck yourself.
You're
no. Hey, Woj, you know what you're getting with him. He is a stable product. If it is over 67 degrees, he's on board. The moment it hits lower 60s, possible 50s, you'll never get him out.
Definitely not.
So
all right, that guy that
is
I have
whatever it is.
that guy that I have
No restrictions.
is Sir Stephen Whitling, who probably is, you've only seen him in commercials. He's like a very, I'm going to say funny looking face, kind of. It's like not, like it's kind of like, looks like Ed Helms, but uglier.
Gotcha.
It's like he's like just kind of been in some commercials here and there, some other shit, but that's that guy.
Cool. I approve of it.
All right. There's no approval needed.
I know.
All right. So, any
Man,
last
I love sitting on this side of things.
any last comments on cast anything of that?
Yeah.
No,
I think he definitely, for who besides Leo, and you mentioned Kingsley and Van Sydow, Michelle Williams is really good in this movie as the wife.
I think she's good.
In the dreams and the flashback sequences. I think she does a great job.
I agree. I got nothing else for a cast. Moving on.
Sure.
Okay. Soundtrack.
This is there really a soundtrack? This score
There's
is pretty
a
much
couple classic pieces, classical. We
Opera.
had Quartet for Piano and Strings in A minor by Mahler, Symphony No. 3, Passacaglia Allegro Moretto by
You're destroying it, but
Polish National Radio Symphony Orchestra. Got that right.
you got that right.
Just some couple classical pieces. What do you got? Anything else that kind of like popped on soundtrack?
I just had the score.
The score was great. Can I tell you what I feel about the score though? Is that
There we go.
it was eerie. It did its job, right? But at the same time, it definitely felt like unoriginal. It just seemed like any kind of classic, not horror, but like thriller type of, hey, you're in a mental hospital. This is what the score is going to be. You're approaching the island. It's going to be eerie and the dot, dot, dot. Like it seemed very like this is not anything special. Comparatively, where Scorsese has amazing soundtracks. And
No, like I
shit.
said, this is a different type of project for Scorsese. But I agree in the sense that is there anything that is specific or unique about Shutter Island in terms of their scores compared to like movies? Probably not. But like I said, I think they did a good job to at least foster that kind of mystery creepiness. Because if they're like putting on like sunshine, lollipops, and if they're like coming into the that definitely changes the tune. So I'm happy with it. Like I said, it's not over and above, but at least it hits the mark.
Yeah, I think it does what it needs to do, but it's nothing special.
Yeah, nothing
Well,
special.
it's not your, as we talked about, it's not your typical Scorsese movie.
True.
So, where, as you said, Woj, normally he would personally pick out specific songs, specific scenes, and do that. This time, not really any songs, just all score, which I think the score works fine. I think it looks good. I don't
It
know.
works better for movies like this.
I mean, I'm not going to say it's like The Dark Knight or something like that, where it's like memorable in that sense, but I think it's good. I don't think it's bad or anything. I mean, I like what I heard.
You know what? Hold on. As a twist, real quick, sorry, is Pixie's Where Is My Mind? Because this is a mystery kind of suspense where you do, if we're looking at Fight Club, I love that ending scene where that comes on, where is, like...
Well, for this, you wouldn't have it because it's in the 50s.
No, I understand that, but they could do something that was 50s that could still be kind of eerie, even though if it's upbeat. Like I know for Halloween they did Mr. Sandman, Bring Me a Dream. That was creepy as shit for end of Halloween with John Carpenter's film. So.
Okay, that's a valid point.
I think you could put something in there, but it'd be a little tough because if you're in the 50s, that means that is the like Elvis. Elvis is starting to become a thing. Chuck Berry, something like that.
There's not a lot.
There's not early 50s that you could pick from.
I think that definitely also, now that I'm thinking about it, probably plays into the fact that the soundtrack is
what it is. Yeah.
It's leaning a lot on the score to kind of settle that.
Can't do blue suede shoes and really evoke fear.
Well, it's not the type of movie that calls for a soundtrack, really.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No.
It's like a mystery, so you need ominous tones. You don't need popular music from the.
Yeah, no, I got you.
That's I would say.
Gotta move on here. Quotes.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
There's
Not a whole lot. I got a couple here. I mean, the one from Dr. Cawley when he's kind of explaining how Rachel, like her condition. He's like, Rachel still believes the children are alive. She also believes this is a home in the Berkshire. Everybody here is a milkman or a paper
servants
boy.
or some type of role.
What you got, Ryan?
I like John Carroll Lynch had one. They're talking about the cliffs and the thorns on the cliffs, the plants.
Yeah.
Like poison oak, poison sumac, this and that. And he's like, thousands of plants with thorns as big as my dick. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like one of the rare funny lines of this movie. There's only like 2 maybe.
Yeah, and he's calling the boy, like they're doing the search party. And then he's like, real randomly, he's like, I'm calling off the search party. It's going to get dark soon. Let's go, boys.
Hello, boys.
It's like just really like quick. And I'm like, and again, you think about the plot of the movie of him going, this is all fantasy. I'm out here with my fucking, guards and stuff like that where I could be doing fucking anything else. So I start to kind of see where like they don't really give a fuck and they're just kind of like, it's whatever.
There's resistance from a lot of the other employees on this approach. Agreed.
Yeah. A lot of resentment. What else you got?
George Noyce, the thing I was telling you guys about when he's basically telling us and him the whole thing.
The rat maze,
This is a game. All this is for you. You're not investigating anything. You're a fucking rat in a maze. It's basically like the movie. If you didn't, the first time you see, you don't think anything of it. But every time I watch, I'm like, he just said what's happening.
Yeah, right.
Right there.
Boom. Right there.
Of course, Why You All Wet Baby. He said it many times throughout the movie. That's what he says to his wife when he sees her in real life after she drowned their kids.
Right.
I think the progression of him becoming a marshal and then going into patient's clothes, that kind of, at least visually, brings you from a point of something, is not afoot here. Something, even if, like, my clothes got wet and, like, I'd be like, throw it in the dryer and I'll put them back on. Like, not a problem.
1950. It's probably not a dryer around.
There's dryers around. It's the 50s. Dryers existed.
I don't know.
It might not have been as many of them to go around.
But even still, you could hang up my clothes on a.
I think you're talking about the fact that he could have popped back into the suit at some point.
Yeah, because now he looks like a patient. I guess for me, mentally, if I was in that, I'd be like, no, I'm not one of these.
Well, he's in the orderly outfit, and then as the movie goes on, he gets dirtier and dirtier, and it becomes more of the patient gray.
Right.
And it looks like a patient's outfit, even though it's a dirty orderly's outfit. But I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying visually, for me, that was a progressive step, like A, B, C. I was like, and I think a sane person, no offense, not calling him insane, but yeah, he is. I would be like, no, you could dry my clothes and I'll get that back. And then when they disarmed him too, like, hey, we're gonna need your badge. Like, you're basically dehumanizing him, or like.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. Sorry.
It's all good.
Yeah.
I just got a couple more.
Then we get
Patricia Clarkson as the Rachel 2. The real Rachel. She's like, define unusual. We work in a mental institution.
That's fair. Yeah, that was a good one.
Dr. Cawley is telling Leo, like, again, more info about Rachel. Is like, the greatest obstacle to her recovery was her refusal to face what she had done. Like, again, telling him to his face, like, this is what you're suffering from, is that you can't do that. What do you got, Ryan? Any more?
Yeah, I have 2 more.
Go ahead.
Before he blows up the car, he's like, I'm sorry, honey. I love this thing because you gave it to me. But the truth is, it's one fucking ugly tie. And then he lights the car on fire with the tie. And then one more. He's talking about his wife again. After she tried to kill herself the first time, Dolores told me she had an insect living inside her brain. She could feel it clicking across her skull.
Yeah.
Just pulling the wires just for fun. She told me that. She told me, but I didn't listen. I loved her so much.
Yeah, that was definitely on him. Could have seen the warning signs. I mean, when they're interviewing the patients and the one guy's kind of like crazy, he's like, you kill your own kids, gas the bitch.
Yeah.
Leo, when he's talking about, he's recapping the commandant, the officer killing himself, he's like, Commandant tried to kill himself. He botched it. I just always love the term botched, and it's about suicide. It's fucking wild. One more here. I mean, just fucking absolutely true. How do we believe a crazy person? The impetus of the entire movie. Of like,
good word, man. We got a thesaurus in this room.
Trying to see what's real, what's not is your pretty much main job of this entire movie.
Well, she even says too, she's like, just because I tell you I'm not crazy, that makes me seem crazy, or something to that effect. Like, now what can I say to make you think I'm not crazy?
Right. I'm on to the Switcheroo. If you guys got some, I mentioned again, John Carroll Lynch. He should have been in The Departed. Absolutely should have been in The Departed. It would have been great.
That would have been. I think it would have been a great add-on for sure.
Fantastic.
So, you want me to do the? Oh, you're doing the crossover, or is
Switcheroo.
So, I had Inception. Now, Bobby, we kind of hinted at this earlier.
Yeah.
Both these movies have a similar theme of Leo's character who could not deal with his wife's death.
Okay.
So maybe in a different.
Well,
thing,
maybe.
This movie, Shutter Island, is part of Leo's character's dreams, and he's stuck in this world.
Oh, I like that, a
where
dream
he
sequence.
He can't get out. There's like 3 different levels. Maybe this is one of the levels where he's stuck in a mental institution and he can't get back. He doesn't realize he's in a dream or whatever. Like something with that element. And maybe like the 2 wives kind of keep blending like they did in this movie with Rachel and Michelle Williams. That it's Michelle Williams and Marion Cotillard. Those 2 characters. Something like,
So one thing that I'm not sure if it's crossover or at some point, let's call it a crossover. So in Saving Private Ryan, they also liberate some concentration camps. So I think that it would be cool in, like, how he has this flashback sequence. He's like part of Company B, like Company A and Company B roll up on a concentrate and liberate it. He's like, you could see him and his crew like walking through while, Saving Private Ryan's like team is going to the south end of the, So that'd be kind of cool if there was just like that little blip. It's like, all right, so there's his involvement.
Definitely going to easily transition.
If I may piggyback off of that,
you can
to go with this spin-off prequel sequel. Like we said, I love the World War II scenes in this movie. Like I would love for Leo's character Teddy to just have like a whole movie with like that his part of in the war, like that whole thing, like going to the concentration camp and all that. I think that was really cool to see. Alternatively, also I was just seeing those scenes made me want to have a Scorsese directed like World War II movie.
Yeah, that'd be good.
He doesn't have to be with that character; could be new characters or whatever. Just like that whole thing, and maybe specifically the whole concentration camp angle, where they're going through the camps and maybe like freeing them or I don't know whatever.
I think you could easily do a period
something
piece.
like that.
I got a twist if we're going on that is the main doctor Sir Ian McKellen. I'll just
Kingsley.
Ben Kingsley. Sorry,
I was like, where the fuck?
sorry, not Ian
Ian
McKellen.
I was going to say
Magneto.
the other old white guy was Max von Sydow, which you couldn't
Good, yeah.
mix up.
All right, so I thought that I think a good spinoff to this would be possibly seeing him at a younger version of himself as a doctor, but he fails on a patient, and that patient ends up like killing someone close to him, like maybe a colleague or a significant other, because he put his faith in this different type of therapy, and it really burned him hard, but he's still open to that idea of it as a possible recovery option. So that was just the only other twist where I think that'd be more of like adding to his character.
I got you.
Nice.
Yeah.
I would definitely like to see some latest time as a marshal.
Marshall, all right.
Yeah, like doing some of that stuff, but then also kind of leaking in the mental issues with the wife and some other stuff. Like you could do easily like a lead up into that. I do like the idea of a mental institution. Like I like the idea of it, and it's done a lot. I just don't know kind of how a sequel. Like I wouldn't really give a shit about people earlier there. Like I guess
Like another one of the
maybe later, and it goes like more tilted towards like a horror story would maybe be kind of cool because you have like the.
like
this
13
movie,
ghosts, but put it on that island.
I'm just saying maybe something like
I like
40
that
years
movie.
later that is now like, hey, this is a haunted hospital, some bullshit. Just trying to think of other sequels and prequels.
Yeah, all right. You gonna make it over there? There you go.
As long as I don't have the fucking noodles of death. All right, what anything else? Sequels, prequels, spin-offs,
No.
switcheroo.
Stab you in.
All right, picking Nits. All right, so Ryan, why don't you lead off with yours that you mentioned
Sure.
with the accents?
Again, comma.
He's such a vocalist.
Again, comma. The Boston accents aren't great and are spotty in this movie outside of John Carroll Lynch. I just feel like I don't know if it's maybe the book takes place or the characters are in Boston, or if Scorsese just has like a fascination with Boston at this time. It's only like 4 years after The Departed, so I don't know.
Maybe.
But like, if you're gonna do a Boston movie, they have to do Boston accents, or they don't do the accents. You either
Right.
The town nailed it with the
right,
accents.
you either fully commit to it and you can do it, or you can't do it at all and you don't try.
Right.
Which is fine if you can't. Like Ben Kingsley does an English accent or in this movie or whatever.
I mean, it works. You can explain it in the plot.
Max von Sydow's a German accent. He's German. It makes sense. Like not everybody has to.
You're right. Fall into that because a lot of these people might be working on the island that came from different parts of the Midwest. Hey, I'm taking this job because it pays well or
like
something.
Maybe Leo's accent in this movie got slightly better than The Departed.
It's better than The Departed in the fact that
not by much.
He doesn't. In The Departed,
such
he's
a shithead
keys
for that.
on, but he keys on a couple words like the "I'm a co-op," and, I'm not a co-op.
It's still only
It's terrible.
the art.
That's actually more of a fucking.
Drop the R's.
Queen
I like
and
that.
fucking-
Mark Wahlberg said it best. Oh yeah, I bet you just come in around the weekends, rolling hard with your.
I definitely think that it's a little bit of like. It's a little better, but I agree overall. It's like, exactly, do it or don't do it, but this in-between bullshit is terrible.
And then to me, like, Mark Ruffalo, he tries it in the
he
first
goes
couple
real
scenes.
hard.
How they're on the boat, and then they first get to the island.
Yeah, and then he just
after
dials
that,
it
he just
completely.
completely drops it. It's gone the entire movie.
But maybe that's him acting to help him transition in.
Maybe
I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe it's part of the thing where he's like, okay.
I don't have a picking it with that, to be honest, because he's trying to bring his character. And hey boss, this about
I just when you watch it and you just hear other, like you said, like The Town or like The Fighter or movies with Boston people in it, like or from there.
I know.
Or have more like you could just it kind of like sometimes can take you out of it a little bit.
I like that. You're a purist. It's got to be authentic.
Well,
You drag him right from the Southie projects.
The fact of the matter is that there are people who can do it well, like John Carroll Lynch. And you want them to do it. Like, that makes it more authentic when you can play somebody with an accent. When you can't get them to do the right accent, you do look at it like, it would have been so much better if you could do a better accent.
Right, like I said, just either you commit to it and you do it, or you don't do it at all. And either way, I'm fine with it. Just give me a good performance, but don't go half and half, dip your toe in and take it out and keep going. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, to me.
Pinky's up with you, for sure. I got it.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say, I mean, I get that this is like a last resort, but it is a very odd concept to like let the inmate play into his fantasy. Like, speaking from a psychological perspective, I don't see in any way, because I don't know if you guys know this, but
I don't know.
I am a minor in psychology. I'm pretty
Oh
much
my
a
God,
doctor.
really? From ISU?
I really wish I could pull that fucking jingle away. I had a minor in psychology, so I'm up in there. I'm right there.
That's what Jesse Jackson was talking
Yeah.
about.
But in terms of like my psychological opinion here, it doesn't make sense to like jolt, like, because that's the only way that you get Leo to understand that he's like, hey, you're pretending all of this is fictional, is like you're jolting him into it, saying, no, you killed your wife killed the kids, like, right, like telling him, hey, this is how it is going to jolt him back into remembering. To me, it doesn't, like.
So hold on, there's a thing called immersion therapy where you literally
Right, but it's subtly, like, it's over time you're going into, like, hey, you start with a little bit and then you increase it. You don't get a bomb dropped on you and then you're like, hey, I'm fixed.
Well, they said
Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
They said in the movie they've been doing this for 2 years. That they
already said that he's been in there for 2
right.
years.
I'm saying, guess what? Sorry. Maybe I mixed my words a little.
Okay, my bad.
He's been there for 2 years, and they've been trying everything they can to this point.
Right, I did say last resort.
Right, and like, so maybe they've kind of partially tried something like this on a smaller scale.
Okay, fair point.
And no matter what they do, he keeps going into this hallucination.
Right.
So they're finally like, okay, well, we're really going to let you act everything out completely,
give the full...
so your brain can process everything that every little maybe, what if, this or that. Now you have no doubt. There's nothing else we can do. You know what I mean? To like,
to basically rip the veil and say
Right.
this is the reality.
like now you've been to the lighthouse. You've seen there's no experiments. You've seen, now we've shown you. We've talked about.
They
this
showed their
before.
cards.
It's
Yeah.
basically
Here's
saying
your file.
you are crazy.
Right. Like,
Deal with it.
And like Ben Kingsley, you know, like it's clearly hinted at that his character is like a good doctor, or he's
Trying to help.
trying to help. He doesn't want to do this to the other patient, to the patients, and he's one of the people who actually cares about their. Like throughout the movie, he's like, "You're prisoners." He's like, "They're not prisoners; they're patients." Like he says that many times.
He's very compassionate. I'll be honest. If it was me there, nope. There'd be a lot of other situations happening. But
Okay, maybe don't go into that.
No. I'm just saying, like, hey, if he hurts or murders another patient, there.
mean,
There's the Gallo. I'm not going to even mess around with it.
You have to think of like the other patients. If he's violently
Right.
assaulting
I'm sorry.
them
You murder someone else. A life for a life.
which they didn't necessarily state, but I think it was almost implied that like he's ramping up. Like the next time he could have murdered, like the Greg Noyce guy. Like said
he would have killed the doctor if
almost
that
beat
gun
the
was
shit out of
loaded.
him.
He even clicked it.
Yeah, I mean he's got the PTSD and a bunch of other issues. I just kind of wrote down here that the 50s clothing, I thought it was good. I like the aesthetic of it. I think it looks pretty cool to be, guys in suits.
I love that tie.
I wish we wore suits more often as a society, but
That'd be horrible. Fuck that.
there you go. I do have, obviously, this is just like more of just a comment. It's like sad reality that this probably happened. The actual like insane asylum and not the best conditions
it could be fairly
in the
accurate.
50s. I'm sure that happened for sure.
I was gonna say, well, just with your other point, like, what a hell of a thing to like that Ben Kingsley had to get everyone on board and the whole island basically to do this, like
to agree to this
the orderlies,
psychosis, essentially.
Some of the patients, at least a couple of them that we were interviewing, the doctors, the warden, the guards, like. What a crazy idea, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. What a radical idea, like that's wow.
I think Bobby is somewhat accurate, and then like it is immersion therapy, but like they're obviously cranking it up to 10 to go like we are fully playing into this fantasy.
Well, that's a hell of a commitment by everybody involved. Like that you have to go with this and pretend this patient is a marshal. And
I think you mentioned it though. It's like this is the last resort. This is why they let it go.
This is his Alamo, and you could see everyone was nervous. So there wasn't like where they walked into a room and people were like, "Oh hey," just friendly. No, they are all kind of just tense. And I think he picked up on that too. Like, I don't know, just my interpretation.
I do have a bit of an issue with you trying to keep the fantasy along, but then this point right here where they go, like pretty much right when he gets there and he starts talking about Rachel Solando and the case, they're like, yeah, Dr. Naheni, or what was the name of the primary care doctor?
Fuck. I know you're saying.
I forget.
Whatever it is. Okay.
Whatever it is.
But basically the Mark Ruffalo's character, the actual doctor that he is, they were like, yeah, Dr. Naheni like left on the last ferry out. He had a vacation plan. And I was like, right there. Like it seems like it wouldn't help. Like obviously it gives more of a reason for Leo to go deeper into the delusion and the fantasy.
So it was like kicking off the training wheels, essentially.
But it doesn't make sense to me because right then,
Dr.
Sheehan,
Sheehan,
sorry.
Yeah.
So the whole investigation goes kaput because I go, you're gonna let. I don't give a fuck if the person's father was dying. There's a patient missing in an insane asylum that is supposed to be the most like locked down place for the most criminally insane, and then this guy leaves like. We're going
You're
after
right.
that guy.
That is a kind of a picky nit, and
I feel like it would have blown up the illusion right away for a normal, but like because it's a movie, they're just like egging him on and like, okay, keep going.
His exit though, his exit was he thought that he like during the like what was it, cliff scene, he might have gone over, he went missing or something. So his exit in a sense could have been. Hey, we haven't seen him in a while.
No. Dr. Sheehan left on a ferry. They said
I understand that, but I'm saying to explain why he's not there and be like instead of saying you never had a partner, we haven't seen him. You know what I'm saying? Or is that worse in a treatment style to say like, hey, we haven't seen this person? You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
I think that him, them pulling him out of the equation made you focus, like you said, dive deeper into his own situation because. He lost his crutch. He lost his buddy in a sense.
Yeah, I'm just saying is like the initial point they told the Dr. Sheehan left right away. That to me, I think blows up the illusion.
Agreed. I think that could have been done better.
I would counter with saying that it's part of the whole corrupt staff island thing.
Could be.
I'm saying for the plot, it pushes it along.
Well, I'm saying like the fact that this doctor's not here, it's like, oh, what are they hiding? Why did they send him away? Or what's going on here? Who else is in on it? Is Dr. Ben Kingsley on it? Is the fucking German guy in on it? Like in the whole movie, especially the first time you watch it, you're kind of trying to figure out who is involved on this island. How
he's saying the excuse is pretty weak.
Well, they
It's-
doesn't do
no,
whatever they
like,
want.
I'm just saying is that like to me, if I'm a U.S.
It pulls
Marshal,
the rug out. Yeah.
if I'm a U.S. Marshal and the guy and they go, yeah, the primary care, the person vanished in a room where there's no signs of breaking in or out,
Right.
and they have keys and shit, and this person leaves on a ferry, I'm going like, what if he took her on the ferry? What
Well,
if he's fucking
think it
murdered?
opens up too many
He
doors?
murdered.
Well-
I'm just saying I think the U.S. Marshals in inclination would probably be to go like, yo, we got to stop this guy, and we got to try and get on the next ferry out, and then we'll go back and investigate because
Well,
the island's going to be here.
They are doing that. They're trying to do that. That's the whole thing.
They're just calling to him. They're not actually go. I'm saying the U.S. Marshal to go like, yo,
well,
we
no,
gotta get this guy.
They did that. They left. He left. He walked. They walked out, and then they're like, "We got to catch the next ferry." And then they're like, "Well, we can't catch the next ferry because there's a storm coming."
Okay, fair point.
And then
I
while they're
guess I missed
there,
that.
he even says, "He's like, well, while we're here, I thought you guys were done." He's like, "While we're here, we might as well keep investigating. We can't leave." So I also think, like I said, it adds to the whole. Who's corrupt in this island? Like the whole island is corrupt, and I can't get off this island. They're not going to let me off this island because they're hiding something private.
It feeds more into his
experiments
paranoia.
and
It really does.
That's what I would say.
Okay.
Okay, I can at least get on board with it. I just think, as Bobby said, it's a little weak of
could have
a
been done better,
reason
yeah.
for him, or like, hey, Dr. Sheehan is unfortunately ill, and he can't talk
or
to
like
anybody.
debris fell on him, or like loose branch fell on him, and he's in the ward.
To me,
Yeah.
they're trying to they only have 2 days to do this, so they're trying to have like
Fast track
steps
it, yeah.
in track. Where like we got to get him thinking,
Right.
paranoid. How can we get him from point A to point B to point C?
You're right. You almost have to force him
Okay,
through.
now we're gonna make him think this that he's moving. That's what I was.
All right.
I got you. There's a fucking hurricane happening outside.
It's really bad. Yeah.
I mean, like, they got shit whipping around and doing all this stuff. I mean, you kind of once the hurricane happens in the aftermath, I just don't buy. Like, again, they're pushing him towards stuff, but then I thought they didn't want him to go to Ward C. Like, I know that in the story they go Ward C is off limits, right? But then he finds his way into it. Was that part of the plot? Like, they wanted him to get to Ward C?
No, I
Because they
can't
just let him in.
No, but it was,
Because he was wearing the orderlies.
It's hard to say.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like obviously you can't. They're not accounting for the storm. You're saying like the storm just happened.
I'm just saying is like, do they want him to go to Ward C? Because I feel
have a
like
thought
that's
on that.
that's exactly where the delusion would break down.
thank you. Exactly. That's where the blurred line starts to really, like, I think, hop
Yeah.
over.
I think they were going to find a way for him to get into Ward C. Maybe like Mark Ruffalo's character would be like, "Hey, boss, I got a way in.
Yeah.
We can sneak in here."
It just to me it doesn't.
if the hurricane didn't happen,
to go to the lighthouse seems more important than to go to Ward C.
Right. I would agree.
I think he had to cross it off his list. Okay, I looked at this
Right,
ward, I looked at this ward, and I got to go to the.
You're right.
This
I can
one,
see that,
and the
too.
last part is the only place I haven't checked. The lighthouse. That's where the shit's going.
You're
down.
right.
Yeah, okay. That
In
definitely
that
tracks.
sense, I could agree. Yeah.
How does this Band-Aid two-part question. How does the Band-Aid stay on through a fucking hurricane? They don't really
doesn't.
show like because
shouldn't.
he's like in the mausoleum after
It's
and the
very
Band-Aid's
wet.
still there. And then what was I missed it. What was the significance? Why did he have the Band-Aid? Did he get into a fight with somebody, another patient before? Did they explain it? I thought
Didn't he take a slip or something? In one, like, after
I'm trying to think when he got the band.
it started raining, I thought he took a slip and he hit
no,
his head.
he had it from the moment he was on the ship.
Oh.
The first ferry.
No
Well,
idea.
maybe
then.
it's from when he got in a fight with George Noyes and he doesn't remember it or whatever.
Oh, could
that
be.
would make sense. Okay.
Could be.
Because I
Damn.
totally blanked on whether
Yeah.
Dr.
That
Cawley
checks.
like pointed that out in the reveal.
Yeah, because
of, like,
Noyes wanted to just pop him in the face. He's like,
Well,
some-
he beat Noyes to like an
Right,
inch
maybe
of
like
his
Joe,
life.
maybe Noyes got like one punch in or something, or maybe another patient he got in a squabble with. That other bald guy was chasing him around the first time.
I'm thinking the guy who drove him in the car, like, he's like, you probably beat the
or
shit out of him.
maybe when he got disciplined, the warden cracked him
Yeah.
one. Like
Could be.
for beating up George Noyes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's more likely, probably.
Did
Billy
you guys
Club.
know Chris Griffin is based off of Ted Levine's voice as Buffalo Bob?
No good.
Yes,
Yeah. Seth Green.
Seth Green. Yeah,
Tried to do that. That's awesome. Last couple on the movie. Law of Four. I know that they said it in the name anagram, but what is the Law of Four? Like, I guess, did they go into
the law
further
of four.
de-
They said it with the anagram. The four
Right, I understand as it applies to the names and the thing, but like, did it apply anywhere else? Or like his law of fours?
I didn't connect.
I think
that,
it's
to be
just with the
honest.
name thing. I think it's obviously the room they're looking in is Leo's room. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
It's Andrew's room. He left that there or whatever there, and
Or they planted it.
or he made it and they planted it there. Whatever. Either way, he's got familiarity with it,
Okay.
and he's the one who came up with this.
Yeah, the Law of Four did make
with
sense.
the
to me.
made up names. The first.
All I remember is Dr. Cawley going, well, this is your law of four, Andrew. These two
Right,
names
he was
are-
almost like,
There's 4 names. Andrew.
I know, but he was trying to validate,
and
the
Teddy
names, he points that out specifically.
Yeah.
But usually when someone is like a law of four, I was trying to pick up if like maybe he was tapping 4 times in like certain instances.
I think it's just the anagram names. The law of 4.
I think so. I would agree.
I think they're trying to hit, like throughout the movie, they're giving him subtle hints, like
Okay.
with like the way that the children were murdered, which is relates to his real life children murdered,
Right.
to other things, trying to like get this combination of things to activate to snap his brain into like, oh, that's what happened. Now I remember.
It's just, again, I didn't notice any other law of 4. But again, when you say a
Yeah.
law of 4, you think like, okay, this happened a bunch of other
Well, I
times.
think that's the whole mystery. They're trying to figure out what is the law for, and that
Fair point,
That's
yeah.
that is it with the names. Eventually, we figured that out as an audience. We were
gotcha.
shown.
The very
What do I
last
do with my hands?
the very last one I had was so Dr. Naring, who is Max von Sydow. Like, I know that they had the Nazi rhetoric there of like saying like, oh, this is perfect timing of you being a citizen. He's like, oh, what's wrong with being a tourist?
Right.
It's like, yeah, you're giving off a real Nazi vibe. Do you think he was actually one, and like they're just playing
Sure.
into it for the?
Operation Paperclip, that existed. NASA wouldn't
Oh,
exist
is he a Nazi
without-
doctor?
I'm saying like, yes, he's in the like a doctor of the asylum, but is the backstory true? Is what
Sure.
I'm saying.
I think it's definitely plausible.
I think it's definitely possible. I don't know if it's for sure, but I think that's definitely conceivable.
I feel like it definitely like they would be like, oh yeah, it's part of a joke, and then you're like, well, there actually is one.
I mean, tons of people like fled to Nazi Germany. He could have been one of them.
And even the Americans, like for even the war criminals they were, if they were brilliant, they still like, hey, we'll give you citizenship. Enough of this noise, but we could use your knowledge on different projects.
I got you. It's just a
You think
question.
Oppenheimer is an American?
Can I also just say Leo does a fantastic German accent, way better than his Boston accent when he was doing the impression for
Yeah.
Max von Sydow. That was really good. He was like committed the whole time. He did not slip up once during the German accent. So I know I talk shit about his Boston accent, but his German accent was
On
Oh,
point.
das
Now he
ist
just needs
gut,
to do
ja.
a German.
Wunderbar.
movie.
Yeah.
wunderbar.
I am
Tapping out.
tapped out.
All right,
You got
me
nothing
too.
else? You guys all good?
Check.
Let's rate it.
All right. Yeah.
Sorry, one quick thing.
Go
Of
ahead.
course.
No, it's really quick. I
He
don't
did
know.
one of these.
Is this true? So is Teddy a nickname for Edward? Why wasn't it Eddie? I keep calling him.
Duke is a nickname for Edward.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Eddie.
I could see
His
Teddy.
His name's
maybe.
Edward Daniels, but he keeps going by Teddy Daniels the whole movie. And I was like, is his name Theodore? No, it's Eddie. It's Edward.
Teddy is for Theodore, but I'm not sure if there's a crossover.
I
there.
think I
I
honestly
thought it was a little strange. That's
okay.
all.
I think it's just simply Eddie Teddy. It sounds similar. I'm sure.
But you wouldn't call like a Theodore Eddie.
No, but I'm saying
Yeah.
you could call.
Nicknames
You could
come.
call somebody who maybe his nickname was Eddie, and then he's like, I don't like that.
Maybe he
Call
has
me
a
Ted-
soft
I don't
heart. He's a
fucking know.
Teddy.
maybe
you
it's
know?
like something like that.
Like Mr.
Like his
Compassionate.
wife called him Teddy Bear. Teddy just
Right.
stuck.
There you go.
You know,
Something
Weird
like that.
factoid: Theodore Roosevelt. He got the nickname Teddy because they basically had a trapped bear, and he refused to shoot it because he's like, "That's not hunting. That's I'm shooting fish in a barrel." And he let the bear go, and there you go, Teddy.
Nice.
All
I
right.
like it. The more
Random
you
fact,
know.
yeah.
All right.
Snapple Bob.
And that's
So-
Bobby's presidential fact.
Yeah.
There you go. Presidential fact of the week. All right. I'm gonna start it off.
Mm-hmm.
Whose pick is it? Everybody, you got your pick ready, right? All right.
Of course he does.
Last one. Scorsese.
I liked our trifecta.
In
Good
terms
segment.
of this is one. You all right there, homie?
Yeah, right on the. Yeah, no, we're good.
In terms
Went
of
fuzzy.
Scorsese, I mean, this is not again my cup of tea in terms of it. I'm still saying this is an own it. I don't own it, which I thought I did, but this again, I'm just gonna add it to the general scheme of like this was a Wojciech family film that again somebody has it in their family, But
Just look at your lies.
shut the fuck up.
He's copy pasting that
It
excuse
happened
a lot.
It happened a lot.
We're gonna have to raid Aaron's house to make sure these movies
I
exist.
guarantee he's got a bigger movie collection.
Hey, you know
than
what?
me.
Next time I'm over there, I'll take a look. I'll try to validate.
We need photo evidence.
But it would definitely be an own. You should own this one. And my rating will be.
We have Shatner over here.
I'm gonna go an 8-9. Yeah, I think 8-9 is respectable. Obviously, I do kind of lower the rating when the picky nits are. There's a lot of them, or questions to be had. I think I think they could have explained a couple things to tie up the loose ends a little bit better. But overall, again, great reveal. That's what really saves this one. Not saves it, but that's what kicks it up a notch in this movie.
You want me to go?
I don't know. What are you?
Yeah, go.
All right. I do own it. I have the Blu-ray upgraded from my DVD copy. It's nice. It was fun to watch it last night. Now, I would say there are two different grades I would give. They're like the first time you see it, and then every time after it's like different. To me,
Does it go up or down?
the first time you see it would be higher because you don't know what's going on.
Right.
The mystery reveal, twist reveal, it would be in the 9s for me, like maybe a
Oh, shit moment.
9.3 or something.
Okay.
Rewatching, I think it goes down a little bit, but it's still very good. I'm gonna give it an 8.7.
Good.
And again, I think just because I know what's happening, so it's kind of like some parts you could kind of not pay attention as much. Like when he's talking to the Rachels, like she's not real, so like I mean, not saying I don't pay attention, but I'm just saying sometimes like the first time you're trying to figure out what exactly is going on, everybody's a suspect.
Right.
Everything is like very important to know. But every other time it's like you're picking up new things, but you already do know the plot. So there are certain things you can maybe not pay attention as much, or if whatever. I would say.
All right, fair. For me,
Last one?
I guess controversial, but I think this is more of a stream. And what I mean by that is this isn't a watch every couple months type of movie. It simply isn't. So if you guys found yourself in kind of the time we're in right now, it's a cold February and you're just chilling on a Saturday, want to do the spooky vibes or kind of suspense, pop this on. So I'd say stream, but make sure it's in its original format, not like TV or anything, trying to cut out different scenes or trim it down.
I mean, and as far as the Scorsese movie goes, it's pretty toned down as far as like the swearing and things. But like,
Sure.
there's graphic images,
Right.
Yeah,
but not in a
say it's not really.
not in a sense of like violence like he usually does.
Right.
It's
There's
different.
not really any swearing.
But I
in
guess
it.
for me, when I say stream, like where you're watching it start to finish, I think that commercials for a movie like this would really mess with my head because I think it takes you out of the moment and you have to like kind of wean yourself back into it when it comes back on.
Absolutely. Like I was kind of saying, like it kind of like the scenes kind of interconnect. Like,
So yeah, to take frequent breaks would really pull me out of this. So stream, and I'd give it a 9 flat. I think that I kind of like where you went, where if you see it for the first time, does it operate higher? Sure, and over time. But I think, like I said, great direction, great twist, casting's incredible. Ruffalo does a good job, and a very enjoyable movie. But like I said, you got to be in the mindset to watch a movie like this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that completes the Scorsese trifecta. What do we have?
I'm curious.
I'm not going too deep in the bag. I'm doing a favorite, a staple, one I've been wanting to do.
Oh, here we go.
We're going with Wedding Crashers.
Wedding Crashers is
Highly
gonna be-
quotable.
gonna
Love
be a
Wedding
quote
Crashers.
five.
It's a top 5 or 10 for me.
I still use it in my daily language, so
Get ready for fucking.
you gotta lock it up.
We're gonna have a
Lock
lot
it
of
up.
a lot of table reads in there.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
God.
gonna be a full boat segment.
Full
Do you want
boat.
to send me like a Word version so I could print it out so we have it? Because there's
Sure.
no way we're doing this from our phones.
Well, we are, but
All the time.
you can have a printout version.
Fine, I would like a printout version.
Good stuff. All right, guys. For the Journeymen Lounge podcast, we are just full of noodles and hopes and dreams.
Oh, I was gonna ask, are we gonna start doing the albums at some point soon or no?
Yeah, we're gonna kick it around. I mean, I think honestly, it'll be.
We don't have to rush or anything.
I think it'll be more
Next couple weeks.
more evident, definitely once the other sports for sure go away.
Football's done.
Well, football's done. I mean, baseball is going to eventually start up, but then there's kind of like there's just like a gap of like
That's why March Madness happens. To be
NBA.
honest.
I mean, we're gonna do some March Madness stuff.
It's true.
That fills the gap.
So,
before
like I said,
baseball.
we'll definitely get back to it. It's just unclear of exactly when it is. But
All right, the people want to know.
yeah, they do.
The people are 103. Tell your friends about us. Subscribe.
I'm getting DMs up the ass, so they want to know.
Oh, are you
Okay,
now?
really?
No, I'm not.
Well, you could have let it go.
You could have lied. We would have believed
Yeah,
you. Come on.
there. All right, Journeymen Lounge Podcast. I'm tired, so peace.
I like it. Straight.
Bye, everybody.